Let's go ahead and call our meeting to order. We are going to have the invocation by the Honorable Kathy Seiden, then the pledge by the Honorable Cheryl Tanner.
Almighty God, we thank you for bringing us together in service to our community. Grant us wisdom as we deliberate, compassion as we serve, and may your peace extend from our parish to the Middle East and beyond. As your word says, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Guide us with this blessing tonight and always. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Smith? Here. Mr. Rowland?
Here.
Ms. Casabon?
Here.
Ms. Seiden?
Here.
Mr. Phillips? Here. Ms. Tanner?
Here.
Mr. Impastato?
Here.
Mr. Burke? Here. Mr. Kugel? Here. Ms. O'Brien? Here. Mr. Lachlan? Here. Mr. Bender? Here. Mr. Corbin? And Mr. Strickland? Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, public comment. A 3-minute time limit is established for each member of the public wishing to speak for or against an item on the agenda, except appeals. You must submit the comment card prior to the commencement of discussion on the agenda item if you would like to speak on that item. The speaker cards are right up there on the table to the left-hand side, and tonight we will do something a little bit different because we have a lot of speakers. When you're the next person in line prior to the speaker, we'll ask that you sit in the first chair in the first row so you can be prepared to speak, and we can keep things moving along as quickly as possible. To ensure that all speakers are heard, please hold cheers and applause. Anyone who wishes to speak, wishes to place a comment card in the record, but who does not wish to speak at the podium may fill out a speaker card and check the box indicating they do not wish to speak. We have a special item tonight. The Parish Council will hold a public hearing in council chambers located at 21490 Coop Drive, Mandeville, Louisiana at 6 p.m. on Thursday, November 6, 2025. Additional public hearings will be held in the council chambers at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, October 14, 2025 and Tuesday, October 21st, 2025 to review the proposed operating and capital improvement budgets prior to adoption. Copies of both proposed budgets will be made available for public inspection by October 3rd, October 2025 at the Parish Council office or online at www.stpg-TV.org. President Coop.
Good evening, members of the council, those that are joining us here this evening. I hold in my hands the 2026 operating and capital budgets, the proposed budgets that you've just received, and I hope you've had time to review them before adoption tonight. No, I'm just kidding, just kidding. I want to take this opportunity to present the budgets to you as we're required to do 3 months or 90 days prior to the end of the year. I want to begin by thanking our Department of Finance under the leadership of Annie Perkins, as well as my executive team, department directors and staff. Their long hours and expertise have produced a comprehensive financial plan to guide us in the year ahead. This budget reflects the principles that guide our work: fiscal responsibility, transparent leadership, open communication, and forward-thinking investment in our parish's future. We're focused on living within our means, prioritizing needs over wants, and making sure every tax dollar delivers value for our residents. A central focus within the budget continues to be on investments in our infrastructure. This budget dedicates more than $53 million to roads, bridges, and drainage systems. Investments that support safety, mobility, and reliability for our community. At the same time, we continue to promote flood protection and resilience projects, including drainage, stormwater management, and coastal restoration efforts, because protecting our people and our environment must remain a top priority. Of course, we continue to support our criminal justice system, our DA, judges, the Justice Center, the jail, as required by law to the extent that our available funding currently allows. This budget funds approximately 70% of what these agencies received in 2025 to ensure their offices are able to continue serving this community. We've been meeting with council leadership and members of our judiciary, the DA's office, for months to ensure they are aware of this shortfall. We know that they need more money to provide the gold standard of service our community deserves, and we continue to explore every possible option to provide full funding for these agencies in the future. I thank them for their continued cooperation as we continue to utilize every undedicated dollar possible to fund these services. In all, this budget reflects both caution and optimism, financial accountability paired with strategic investment. I look forward to meeting with you all to further discuss this proposed budget in the upcoming public budget review meetings later this month. Together, we're building a stronger, safer, and more connected St. Tammany, one that honors our values while preparing for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President Cooper. Okay, so we have two ordinances for introduction. Number one is ordinance calendar number 7963, ordinance to adopt the 2026 operating budget, introduced by Ms. Tanner and President Cooper. Ms. Tanner, before we make a motion, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I would, if you don't mind. As you know, I've been part of the council for a number of years. I've been finance chairman a number of years. I want to begin by thanking the finance department for their hard work. Annie, Ms. Jackson, thank you for doing the budget. Great job. Y'all have been excellent to work with. And I also want to thank the agencies and departments and administration in helping with this budget. The council will begin reviewing this budget tomorrow and will adopt it by the end of the year. As we move into the budget review period, the council will face some tough decisions, some of which may not be popular. We must carefully weigh issues such as salary increases, possible hiring freezes, and other cost-saving measures. Each parish fund, agency, and department will be reviewed. Also, as you know, the parish has lost approximately $32.5 million in revenue in the past several years, and our reserves continue, if not fully depleted, with this budget will be depleted. We have also relied on disaster monies to help fill the budget gap. I hope that we don't have to rely on a disaster to help us get one-time funding to operate the parish government. I don't think that's the way that this should work. I think all of us should work together and do the best for St. Tammany. And in the future, I hope to see where, if not with this budget, with other budgets, that we have kind of a standstill budget, review everything, see if there's more cost-saving measures that could be done. And I am confident that the council will work with the administration to do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tanner. Do you have a motion to introduce?
I do.
Motion, Ms. Tanner, second by Mr. Rowley. The ordinance is introduced. Number two is ordinance calendar number 7964, ordinance to establish the 2026 through 2030 capital improvement budget and capital assets. Ms. Tanner?
Make the motion.
Motion, Ms. Tanner, second by Mr. Smith. Motion also is introduced. We move on to our presentation segment of the agenda. The first presentation is a presentation of a proclamation to the St. Tammany Parish Government Employee of the Month, President Cooper.
Good evening again. This is an opportunity, again, on a monthly basis, we have the opportunity to present a proclamation to Employee of the Month, an outstanding member of Team Tammany. And tonight, I am happy to present this proclamation to Miss Olivia Ullman Drinkard. Olivia, would you stand up here, please? Whereas Olivia Ullman Drinkard joined St. Tammany Parish government in July 2020 in the Department of Procurement, later serving in the CAO office and the Department of Grants before assuming her current role as Public Works Coordinator within the Department of Public Works. And whereas in this role, Olivia is responsible for communicating with the public, council members, and the administration, managing all Department of Public Works emails, researching issues, and ensuring timely and thorough responses to inquiries. And whereas Olivia has distinguished herself through attention to detail, a thorough understanding of parish processes and policies, and the ability to work effectively across departments, earning the respect of coworkers and supervisors alike. And whereas while serving full-time in parish government, Olivia further demonstrated her determination and commitment to public service by earning her Master of Public Administration degree from Louisiana State University. And whereas Olivia is recognized not only for her strong work ethic, but also for her professionalism, positive attitude, and willingness to go above and beyond to assist others. And whereas Olivia is truly an outstanding employee who performs the duties in an exemplary manner and is dedicated to serving the citizens of St. Tammany Parish. Now therefore I, Michael B. Cooper, as parish president of this great parish, do hereby recognize the hard work, dedication, and accomplishments of Olivia Ullman Drinkard as Employee of the Month, October 2025, and encourage all employees, members of the council, and residents of St. Tammany Parish to thank her for her service and commitment to St. Tammany Parish. Congratulations, Olivia. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right, we're going to get a picture. Steve, you want to come here? Thank you. Did you want to say anything?
Just a quick few moments. I'll keep it brief. I just want to say thank you all so much. Thank you for this current administration. It's a pleasure working with you all, with you council. It's a pleasure, Jay, under you and Holly's leadership. It's wonderful. And I look forward to many more years serving the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olivia. Next, we have a presentation of the Independent Auditor's Report of Parish Financial Statements by Lester Rishu with Laporte CPAs and Business Advisors. Lester, did I say your last name correctly?
Lester Rishu, yes, that's correct.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner. Yeah. Proceed, sir.
Every year I show up, you've always got a full house, so I know you're in for an exciting night. I say this almost every year, and it's always something interesting. So I'm excited. I'll watch it when I go home and see what happens. But I'm gonna try to close the books on 2024. You know, the audit happened a while back, and so just present to you the findings. And we did meet with members of the finance committee, the audit committee, and went over the report. They asked a lot of questions at length. So I'm just going to give you the high-level overview, and I think I mentioned this before. There's a page in the very, very back. You know, you kind of got to drill through all the way to the back. It's page 259 if you have a paper copy, right? And so that kind of summarizes the entirety of the audit. So we issued an unmodified opinion. That's what you're looking for. That's the clean opinion that, you know, I think, Andy, you might not remember, but it's been, I don't know, at least the 17 years I've been associated with the parish audit, it's been a clean opinion. So it just goes to show you the ongoing strength of the financial reporting aspect of the parish government and the good work that the finance department does. So, and just in terms of the internal control over financial reporting, that's the other report that's interesting to the users. They should take note of, that's when we identify material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, and controls, you know, the checks and balances of the parish. Nothing to report there. And then the other element of the report that we issue is over that federal money, right? So again, the federal government is looking, they have a set of compliance requirements they're looking at to see if there are any issues there, and our report didn't identify any deficiencies that we need to report to you that would be in the report that we issue. And then lastly, there's this other little report that we issue. It's called the Statewide Agreed Upon Procedures. It's kind of a little add-on report that has come into place probably since 2014 or so, specific to the parish and then to the whole state. We issued that report. There was one procedure we had to repeat this year, but we didn't have any exceptions to report on that. So all in all, clean opinions and a clean SAUP report. So I'm happy to answer any questions. It was a, I've said this before, this isn't an easy audit to do, and I just want to make sure I thank Andy and even everybody in administration that helps us, the finance department. That they have their day jobs, they're trying to keep track of 2025, and we're digging through the records for 2024. So it's a juggling act to help us to get this done, and we managed to get through it all the way into June, but we got it issued. So I just want to thank them for all their support, but happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, no questions. Oh, almost got away with it.
Short
Mr.
comment.
Smith.
Yeah, and I appreciate the more in-depth report that you sat down with the Finance Committee and we went through it and asked some questions, and I was happy to learn that basically we got gold stars, okay? So Annie, yes, you do it good. You're all doing a great job. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Rishu, thank you very much. We appreciate all of your work.
All right.
And
Y'all
go
have a
home
good
and
night.
watch the rest of this meeting.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, now we move on to our appeal segment of the agenda. The one and only appeal is Precision Development, LLC, appealing the Planning Commission denial on August 12, 2025 of the concept subdivision plan for Piney Ridge Estates located on the north side of U.S. Highway 190 west of Penn Mill Road, Covington, Louisiana, Ward 3, District 3, in Ms. Casadebon's district. The developer owner is Precision Development, LLC. I do not have a name. Is there a... Mr. Peliquin? Yes. Please step up to the podium. You have 10 minutes. And then you will have 5 minutes for rebuttal.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to the council. I will not take a full 10 minutes. I'll try to keep this as somewhat brief as possible. We've had multiple conversations over this development. I simply wanted to reiterate a few things to the council. That we've been through with this particular property and this particular development. Obviously, we've passed the point of the zoning of this property, both the main portion of the property for residential and another piece, which is about approximately 2.5 acre tract on the corner of Penn Mill and Highway 190 that is to be donated to the parish, and more specifically to the fire department for a potential, however they decide to use this. We had that zone for public use. What we would like to see is a fire department there that would obviously increase the fire rating for this particular district and this area. We fully intend to do that. But since we've moved beyond the zoning stage, I think there's been some confusion as where this stood. I've been in St. Tammany Parish before. It's been years ago with Southern Lifestyle Development Company, but things have changed with the new UDC code. So we took our time and worked with the staff in order to figure out and dive into all the intricacies of the new UDC code. I feel like we probably had 4 to 5, 6 meetings with the staff to ensure we were understanding every part of your UDC code and how to abide by that based on the zoning that we were approved for. We have done that. We've accomplished that to the T. We've accomplished and accompanied every portion of the UDC with regards to the site plan itself, your buffer zones that are required, the green spaces that are required. We actually exceed that in multiple ways, and nevertheless, we would like to move forward with this. I felt like we got hung up a little bit in the commission. There's some confusion as far as where we were standing in the process here. We have not entered into any major design phase with engineering at this point. We still have a lot of things to do. Our traffic impact analysis is fully completed. Appendix E was submitted last week with some minor comments back from DOTD. We fully intend to improve whatever traffic at the corner of Highway 190 and Penn Mill Road that DOTD requires us to do. We're working hand in hand with them to figure out what's the best case scenario based on the life of this project and its full build out. We understand that our engineering for the design of drainage, we have a full drainage impact analysis that has to be completed before anything is officially figured out. A lot of things we still have to do. But where we currently stand in this process is a concept plat review. That concept plat that sits before you today meets and exceeds your UDC code in all aspects. Not only that, the new UDC code reads in a way that there's incentives for certain things that we do within this development. That would be donating the public track, putting in sidewalks, and other things that we're doing with green space. I'm capped out at 20%. We are only utilizing 12 to 14% on average. I'm not even maxing that out in order to try to accommodate everybody within that's having a look at this and has an opinion of the development. We want to work with everybody here. We want to deliver something very nice, and that is our full intent to do so. Getting beyond this point is a challenge. We never like to come for an appeal. I sat in public body myself as the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission for 5 years in my town. And we vote based on what the UDC code reads. We have staff that build these UDC codes over a course of time and put these things in place, and that's what we always vote on. And it's unfortunate that we're here today for an appeal for something like this, but when we fully meet the UDC code, we would like to see an approval and like to move forward with this project and still coordinate with the parish to work out any intricacies of the design plan itself to make sure it accompanies all of the different aspects of drainage, traffic, and everything else involved with the subdivision for this area. So I appreciate your time. I hope that you folks move to approve this development, and we hope to see you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You do have time left. You have an opportunity left to rebut. Ms. Kaiserman, there are two speakers that would like to speak in opposition. Would you like to speak now or allow them? Okay, I have Ms. Christina Gould. Next will be Mr. Matthew Allen. Mr. Allen, if you could please step up to the front and be prepared to speak as soon as Ms. Gould is finished. Please state your name for the record. You total together have 10 minutes. Proceed.
Sure. My name is Christina Gould. I live at 73024 Penn Mill Road. Thank you for allowing me the time to voice my thoughts. This is the second appeal for the proposed Piney Ridge Estate subdivision development of 150 plus home sites on quarter-acre lots. Please consider the 1,400 acres of wetlands in an A4B flood zone, also known to us locals as Lake Ramsey Preserve and Ramsey Savanna WMA. It has longleaf flatwood savannas. 3% of these historic longleaf pine forests remain in existence, making them endangered and threatened habitats. They're found in our beloved St. Tammany Parish ecosystem. Special flood hazard areas off Penn Mill Road, and these wetlands are habitat for deer, small game, waterfowl, birds, many rare plants, some species that are protected in Louisiana. Many of these native plants have bees that only visit these plants, making it an important facet of bee conservation. Why would St. Tammany Parish government consider building another development of 150 plus homes near the land we are intentionally trying to protect and risk higher chances of heavy rainfall or rivers overflowing, causing flooding in an area of special flood hazard concerns when you remove the trees on 63 acres? How will fill, elevation, and development affect existing drainage and flood hazards? I chose our home just outside of city limits in the outskirts of Covington with intention because we love the community, the slower pace of life, the quietness at night, a rural area with trees, wildlife, nature, lakes, and rivers surrounding us. The culture and people are like nowhere else. I can't decide what someone does with their land, but can't you? Your vote of no will help protect these floodplains, land conservation, buffer critical areas of special concerns, wetlands, and existing residents from unnecessary risks of flooding or repetitive loss. Most people consider their home and its contents our largest investment. Your New Directions 2040 survey results taken in the 2025 timeframe say that 50% of the respondents prefer rural residential or village and town. Are you going to keep it that way? Is the land going somewhere? Are they making more of it? Because once you destroy it, it's forever changed and not necessarily for the better. Census data shows that St. Tammany Parish has grown over 75,000 people in 25 years, but the infrastructure hasn't been able to support the growth. How many developments are springing up around us? I feel like we will be the next overpopulated catastrophe that is Dog Pound, or the muck-up that is at Beatico Creek subdivision without serious foresight. I lived in Goodby in the April of '83 floods. I lived in River Forest when April and May '95 floods were underwater and Abita became an island. We were here for Hurricane Katrina and during the 100-year Great Flood of 2016, when rains brought the Bogafilias 6 feet above flood stage. Can't wait to see what happens when the rivers flood now. Imagine what it'd be like with no trees or development surrounding us. The beginnings of 2 massive subdivisions off 1077 and more all around us are getting pushed through regularly. Something's happening off Bennett Bridge Road. There's 112 acres of vacant land off Penn Mill Road near the Covington Vincent Airport and 97 acres off Lake Ramsey Road and Highway 25. Has there been any consideration by St. Tammany Parish to deny Piney Ridge's plans completely, to reduce it to 50 to 75 homes in total, or restrict additional phases or enforce lot sizes to be 3 to 5 acres instead of 150 quarter-acre lots? More developers will follow and destroy what we all love about Covington if you grant this appeal. We live in a rural area with special concerns, repeated flood events, critical drainage problems, and infrastructure that cannot handle more. You're setting us up for failure with no long-term solutions. I urge you to please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. You have 5 minutes remaining. Please hold the applause down. Thank you. Proceed, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Chairman Impastato. I'm Matthew Allen. I'm representing North Shore River Watch, and as y'all know, I've been up here for, 18 years now in front of y'all. And I wanted to point out that the appeal claims that the decision was based on opinion. In reality, there were some structural issues that were involved with the denial, including questions about the capacity of some of the drainage ways and the location of the houses and all. I would also like to point out that state law gives the parish council and the planning commission discretionary immunity when approving or denying plans for development. So this is up to y'all, whether or not this is a good project or not, regardless of what they've put in. We find that this is kind of a backwards plan as far as floodplain management. They have a lot of homes in the floodplain, but the recreation is not in the floodplain. That's reverse of what good floodplain management is. You need to keep these homes out. And considering the increasing price of flood insurance, how's that going to affect the affordability of these homes? I want to point out too that in this area, this is where I grew up, in a house 11 feet off the ground. We never had flood problems. We just kept canoes tied to the house. There have been 6 floods in the last 50 years that have exceeded the base flood elevation. The 83 flood and the 16 flood were almost 2 feet above base flood elevation. This is a flat property. That river comes up. And it's not the creek there, Pruden Creek. It is the full river that overwhelms Pruden Creek before it actually floods this area. They also have sewage issues. They say they want to join with the Penn Mill Place sewer plant. And they will have issues increasing discharge into Pruden Creek, a scenic river that was up for delisting this year. In 2016 and 2017, we were complaining about Pruden Creek subdivision, which is about 3/4 of a mile down the road. And they tried to put their sewage discharge into Pruden Creek. Well, LDEQ has to do modeling for that to prove that doesn't degrade the water because it's a scenic stream. Well, what they found is it would degrade the water, and so Pruden Creek subdivision had to find other places to go put their sewage. So that's going to be very problematic for this development. 150 homes or so? That's a lot of extra sewage going into a small scenic river, stream, which does empty into the Tchefuncte River, which, by the way, is not impaired for stuff with sewage at this point, according to the LDEQ. Y'all keep this up, it will become that way. Really, what needs to happen before y'all add more development in this area is build regional treatment plants. Something that take in these small ones that don't work real well, and I can give you lists of violations from, I want to say there are 8 sewer plants in a 9 square mile area here. 1 for each individual subdivision, and that seems to be the plan going into the future for this area. These small plants don't work well all the time. One of them actually has had violations for 48 months between 2021 and 2024. You're going to see that later on tonight. So there are lots of reasons not to approve this, and a big one is the infrastructure and the scenic rivers that we have. But if approved, we would ask that you require LDQ concurrence with the sewage plant increase before you allow construction to start. And I just want to mention, last year we were talking about some of the same stuff in this area, and Mr. Bender has said that we can protect homes from flooding. My question is, who bears that cost? It's going to be the community and this parish that bears that cost. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. Mr. Pellegrin, would you like to rebut?
I have none.
Anything else? Okay. We'll bring it back. Ms. Kasdabon, did you?
Is this one mine? Yes, we are looking at a subdivision in an area, but we're also looking at a lot of homes, single-family homes, that when developers come in, they have to go through our steps, through the drainage, through the traffic, and the water and sewerage. I have many houses in that area that have their own individual water and sewerage, and it is not in a treatment type system and stuff. With this development, I feel that I have talked to developer, and we're looking at also improving drainage through this development, and also the traffic. And a lot of the drainage we're working on right now, just with the parish, with cleaning out Pruden Creek and our de-snagging or whatever, not digging it out, but clearing that, and we're at another phase. This was denied because at tentative, what we used to call tentative, like I said, there was confusion with our new terminology, but I'm going to move to, with this conceptual plan, what I did was meet with staff. I brought in the planning and zoning commissioners, 2 of those, myself, and the planning staff, that this particular development is meeting all our unified code ordinances, and plus a little more. Like I said, they're improving, and they've taken away a lot of stuff, but they've added a lot of things that will improve that area. With that, I think someone had said something about the make it a conservatory. Well, unfortunately, that would be the landowners bring forth these different developments, and we have to look at them like they are and what they can do with them. The infrastructure, I think, is going to be improved, and with possible light through this traffic, I'm going to make a motion to overturn the planning and zoning's denial. And I have talked to the developer about having, when he gets all these plans together and all the questions you have, a community meeting to meet with the community on the things he has designed, and he agreed to work with us if there was any questions that are changes that they needed to be made. So with that, I make a motion to overturn the planning and zoning's denial.
Okay, we'll take your motion. We do have some other council members that would like to speak. Do you want to second it? I'll second. So we have a motion second on the floor. We're going to go to Councilman Kugel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just, Ms. Kasdabon, just first off, if where do you think, I don't want to say got it wrong, but where do you disagree with the conclusion of planning?
Well, as you heard, that's why I had the gentleman come and speak at our agenda review, so y'all would have a little more background on this. We've using different terminology, and I think there was a mix-up with what we used to call tentative was we now call conceptual. I think the planning and zoning, it was stated that they thought that the developer had changed the plans from what we overturned, what we voted to overturn the zoning part. And so that's why I brought some zoning commissioners in with us, with staff, to make sure which plan we were looking at and what we were approving. before, so they could go on to the next step, which is where they can give us definitive answers to the drainage and all these other questions that the people have.
And how many homes is this total?
Derek, how many homes? I didn't.
The current plan is
154.
Oh, wait.
But this again, with what we're asking them to do, that some of these things change. If we need more detention, if we need more drainage and so on, sometimes the numbers do change.
And that Justin, could you just, so a vote to overturn, does it basically move forward the approved plan for 154 homes or whatever the number is?
It moves it forth to the next stage, which is the what we used to call preliminary. I'm not sure what it's called now. It's called something else. But at preliminary is where they bring in the number, the drainage, and the traffic studies, and all the other questions. And at that point, once we have some more definitive answers from the developer, that's where I want to offer a community meeting.
Thank you.
And this also goes back to planning and zoning. I mean, at the next stage, over and over, it goes to planning and zoning a number of times. So these issues and questions can be brought out.
Okay, next we have Mr. Bender.
Yes.
Before you speak, Mr. Bender, I would like to say there are 5 other people here opposed to the project that did not wish to speak. Mr. Bender, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a quick question. Did I hear that this development, if it moves forward to completion, is going to or want to connect to, I think, Penn Mills sewage treatment system?
I don't know that.
Okay, can I?
Well, Ms. Kessler, let's turn your microphone on if we're going to.
In other words, my question is, are they going to be providing their own sewage treatment for their 150 lots or whatever, or are they trying to connect to an existing sewage treatment system?
He'll have to answer that.
I'll answer that question.
Please state your name prior to answering.
Derek Peliquin with Precision Development Group. All preliminary conversations, we have a signed will serve letter from Magnolia Water Systems, who operates the treatment plant at Penn Mill Place. We've looked at the current flows. Anything that we brought into this particular system, we have to upgrade, upsize. They currently have a discharge permit with DEQ, so we would be using that discharge permit, but we're also upgrading the water system to that as well to increase water capacity between Penn Mill Place and this particular development. Whatever size they require me to do, it's not something I come in and say, this is what I'm going to do. They have to require the standards along with our engineers, which also have to be approved by the parish engineers. So all that engineering design gets turned in based on the flows as the subdivision gets built out. But yes, essentially we would drop in 2 new cells to that system and simply using the same discharge permit. So obviously all of your sewer gets treated in the plant. Effluent water is discharged, which is clean water.
So you would expand the existing plant to handle this subdivision if approved?
That is correct.
Okay.
We would have to. There's no way we could use the current system in its entirety by itself.
That's all I wanted
Yes,
to determine. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do I need to stay here for any other questions?
Probably stay close just in case. Mr. Phillips?
I was just curious, if there's a town hall meeting planned, wouldn't it be prudent to have maybe a postponement of the appeal until the town hall meeting took place?
We had talked about that, but then it's kind of, it's like doing the next phase without him getting approval of this phase, I guess is how they explained it to me. That, like, all I know is the old Unified Code, we called it tentative, and at tentative, they just did a tentative plan. At the preliminary is when they produced all this other information. And like I said, they have to keep meeting with the planning and zoning, for all of these questions and things that go through, so that we have many more stages, before they get what we used to call final, but it's called something else now, build out. And I'm going to have to read up on the new one, but that's how, basically it's the same stages and stuff, so in order to move forward.
Finished? Mr. Laughlin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question for legal, and Justin, could you explain to us, just so we know, where if this developer is denied at this phase, what happens? Does he have to go back to planning and zoning and start over? Can you give us an explanation exactly where he is in the process?
Yeah. He gets to start.
My understanding of the recently adopted UDC is that if this conceptual subdivision plan is ultimately, or the council approves denial of the concept plan, it would be going back to the drawing board with something completely new, potentially.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and the motion is to overturn the denial. It requires a 2/3 majority vote, which is 10 votes. Seeing no more discussion, please vote.
Joe, so a yes is to overturn?
Yes is to overturn.
A yes is to overturn.
Yes.
We just got a lawsuit.
It failed.
I don't know. 9. I
You
can't
needed
see.
10, right?
9 to 5.
The motion fails with 9 yeas and 5 nays.
All right.
You need a resolution, but hold on one moment.
Just tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Ms. Smith, would you like to do a resolution? Do you move on a resolution, Mr. Smith?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Rowley. Please vote.
I don't know.
A resolution.
I don't know.
A resolution to concur with the denial.
Thank you, Katrina.
Wait. No. I made a motion to overturn.
And that motion passes with 11 yeas and 3 nays.
I don't understand it.
Before we move on to the appointment section, I would like to say thank you to the Chief of the Civil Division, who is retiring, Mr. Kerry Menard. How long have you been there? 10 years. 10 years. It's been an honor to work with you, and we really and truly appreciate your service. It's good to spread the joyful moments out in between the meeting. All right, to our appointments. First is a resolution to appoint one member to fill a vacant seat. Board member has resigned on the St. Tammany Parish Library Board of Control. It's moved by Mr. Phillips. We have several nominees, and we have several speaker cards, who will open up the floor for speakers first. Mr. Hamway's nomination has been rescinded. The other nominees are Ms. Penny Petrie, Ms. Cheryl Godwin, and Ms. Lorraine Cheryl Godwin, say that correctly? And Ms. Lorraine Kinchin. Our first speaker is Ms. Joan Simon, followed by Ms. Kathy Capel. Ms. Capel, please step up to the front and be ready to speak. As soon as Ms. Simon is finished, please state your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. Joan Simon, Covington. Thank you all. I think this is an important decision. Over the last 3.5 years, this whole library issue has been very politicized. And this should not be a political decision, but unfortunately, certain things that have happened in the last 24 hours, of which many of you may well be aware, have shown that it is. And this needs to stop. The library is for everybody here, and the decisions that we make to appoint our board members need to be apolitical. I mean, that's been made very clear in LBOC meetings, but unfortunately that seems not to be happening behind the scenes. So I would urge all of you to make an honest decision on who best would represent everybody in the community, not serve a political agenda, which I know is on this council and has been made quite clear for a number of years. I'm just speaking for myself, not to represent any group tonight. I really am. So please, From all indications, there is one person that has been nominated that appears to fit the qualifications that we need, and that's Ms. LeRae. I've learned some things about all of the people, and that would be the person personally that I would urge you to do, but you're going to have to make your own decisions. Just please make them without politicization. I'm sorry about that, because that's super important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Capel. Please state your name for the record. Next is Ms. Joyce Albert. Please step up to the front and be prepared.
Good evening, council members. My name is Kathleen Keppel. I am a resident of St. Tammany Parish and a frequent patron of its libraries. I am here to support Penny Petrie's nomination to the St. Tammany Parish Library Board of Control. I've known Penny socially, and I am continually impressed with her positive attitude and her dedication to family, friends, and community. She is fair-minded, inclusive, and exhibits curiosity and a continual desire to learn. A dedicated member of the community, Penny would be a great leader, motivating others through her enthusiasm and kindness. In addition to her impressive education and list of accomplishments while working within the St. Tammany Parish school system, she continues to have a heart for the community and an acute awareness of its needs. I believe that Penny will be a great asset to the Library Board of Control and that St. Tammany will benefit greatly from her appointment. So I ask you that you support her with your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Albert, were you do not wish to speak? No. Okay. Ms. LeRae Kinchin. After Ms. Kinchin is Ms. Sherry Rowland. Ms. Rowland, please get prepared. Come up to the front. Be ready to speak. State your name. You have 3 minutes, and please proceed, ma'am.
LeRae Norman Kinchin, Lacombe, Louisiana. Thank you all. First, I thank you for the nomination, Councilmember Strickland, and I thank the Parish of St. Tammany for allowing me to come up here and speak tonight. So, I am an established resident of St. Tammany Parish with a deep commitment to literacy, public service, and community enrichment. I believe I possess the vision, the dedication necessary to contribute positively to the governance of the growth of our beloved library system. I am a licensed and ordained minister of 13 years that I sit alongside my husband. I'm a board officer, a board member, and a board advisor for a few nonprofits and organizations in the state of Louisiana. Where I actively serve and uphold their mission and vision. And I will do the same with the Library Board of Control. I am a grant writer, manager, and I have successfully written and executed submission of grants and oversaw and monitored the funding and operated those program that were funded. I have and currently work with people with disabilities to successfully fulfill their needs to live a sustainable life in this community. I have worked in multiple arenas, from nonprofit, legal, medical, education, local and state government, small business, corporations, and being an entrepreneur in my own right. Throughout many years living in St. Tammany Parish, I have been active in the community, in community initiatives, and I have witnessed firsthand the vital role the library plays in fostering education, supporting families, and promoting a culture of lifelong learning. I am inspired by the library's mission to provide equal access to information and resources for all residents of St. Tammany Parish, and I wish to assist in furthering these values for the benefit of our parish. My background includes business and education administration, project management, community leadership, nonprofit management, and government administration, equipping me with the skills to evaluate policies, work collaboratively with the administration and diverse groups of stakeholders. And I advocate for the needs and interests of our community. I am particularly interested in supporting initiatives that enhance library services. I uphold programming for patrons of all ages and ensure that our facilities remain welcoming and technically up to date. If and when given the opportunity to serve on the board, I ask for your vote, each and every one of you. Thank you. My time is up.
Thank you very much. After Ms. Rowland is Ms. Becky Bone. Ms. Rowland, please state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Sherry Rowland. I live in Pearl River. Well, Magnolia Forest, but Pearl River. What she said, seriously, you have someone there who's got experience in grant writing, experience in business, experience in literacy, experience in lifting people up, is of moral character. So what she said, I would like you to support Ms. Kinchin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bone. Please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes. Next is Ms. Jean Wiggin.
Hi, Becky Bone, Mandeville, Louisiana. I would like to support Ms. Kitchen for the open LBOC member. After hearing all the candidates speak at the last Parish Council meeting, I feel she's the best choice to try to move our community forward from the library saga, since she's not allied with any controversial agendas. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. After Ms. Wiggin, please state your name for the record. It is Chief Warhorse.
Jean Wiggin, St. Tammany Parish. I support Ms. Kinchin, and I want you to vote on the candidate who is nonpartisan. We don't have an LBOC that's a Republican group. We don't have an LBOC that's a Democratic group. We do not have an LBOC that is a religious group. The new member should be a strong believer and a passionate supporter of libraries and librarians, a voracious reader, and a person who is a serious believer in the rights of parents to decide what their children may read. As I have spoken at LBOC many times, the majority of parents in our parish give their children unrestricted access to the library. I would like the person you choose to understand that parents will control what their kids read. The only thing the LBOC does is make it easier for parents to use the library. I would also like you to choose an LBOC member who understands that the majority of St. Tammany Parish parents trust our librarians. If someone disapproves of a book on the shelf in the library, they may simply choose not to read it. Please choose Ms. Kinchin, the person who will protect our rights and does not believe in serious censorship, which is what I want more than anything. Thank you very much.
After Chief Warhorse, we have Ms. Lisa Rustmeyer. Chief Warhorse, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. Greetings to the President and the Council. I'm very active in the communities here. All we are asking for you all tonight is put political parties, because I heard at the last time we was here, when she was nominated, someone mentioned here what their party was. I voted across political parties in this parish. If I would have voted by parties, I wouldn't have voted for you, Arthur. So I want y'all to concentrate. And I'm not picking with Arthur, I'm just being honest with you all. In St. Tammany Parish, a lot of us have voted across our registered party. I'm a no party, okay? So let's not, when people come up or get nominated, let's not let people come here and pick them by parties, but pick them to fit the position that we are looking for in their qualities. I would like also to say this: if we really look at St. Tammany Parish, we don't see too many people that look like me in nowhere. That says a lot. And that's why you see a lot of the white citizens, not by party. People have moved here and said, well, where are y'all? Why you're not involved? It's because we gotta hope and pray we can get the majority votes on a council to be appointed. Please, let's not use party. Let's use who's best qualified. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Rustmeyer, state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, good evening. Lisa Rustmeyer from Mandeville. Thank you for letting us speak. Our library here is such a valued community asset, and it deserves excellent stewardship. Despite its troubles over the last 3 years, no fault of its own, its attacks, it is a destination for families, seniors, business people, students, everyone. So I'm here to advocate for a balanced board that reflects all these people, something we don't seem to have at the moment. The candidate I would choose is someone who thinks that libraries are safe and essential, who emphasizes the things we all like about the library, the freedom to read with the parental rights to select for one's own children, someone with a willingness to move the library forward and upward according to the principles of librarianship and the needs of the citizens, including an amazing new branch in Lacombe. The mission and vision of the library should be foremost in all their decisions for every board member. Our library should continue to have books and services for every citizen, and a strategic plan for the library should be the guide for the board. Currently, our library is at a critical juncture with the recruitment and onboarding of a new library director. We all know that our parish voters value the library because we saw the millage pass by 10 points. Library supporters who pass the tax are largely moderates. They are not extreme right-wing minority. They are more what some people might call rhinos. They're independents, and they're more truly representative of the parish. They are not actively engaged in meetings like this because they have work and they have life commitments, but they have a minute to vote when it matters to them, and they voted for the library. So with the imbalance of the board coming to the fore this week, I find more than ever we need a candidate who will not jump on any alternative agenda to diminish the quality of the library, with operatives whose continual harassment of council members and library supporters has been proven to be and continues to be divisive and destructive. Please select a candidate that has a knowledge of and interest in our community, keeps the library excellent foremost as the criteria used for every decision. In summary, we need to balance the board so that we can have everybody represented. And I would really, was really impressed what I've heard. I was impressed last month, and I'm more impressed now with Ms. Kinchin than I was then. I would really love to see her added to the Board of Control. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is the last speaker, but just for the record, there are 6 other speakers, 5 cards in favor of appointing Ms. Penny Petrie. We have 1 council member that would like to speak, and then we'll move on to the selection process. Mr. Phillips?
Yeah, I'd just like to say Ms. Petrie was my nomination. She worked in the St. Tammany school system for her whole career. She was a teacher, and she spent the majority of her time, I think it was the majority, at least 10 or 15 years, working as a librarian. And I see y'all wear and support your librarian shirts. So I would think that that would be a credible nomination to bring in front of the council here. So thank you very much.
1 more speaker, Mr. Bender.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly, I interviewed the 3 nominees, and I just want to thank them all for offering themselves up for public service. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bender. Are we ready? Stop. Are you going to call me? Okay, all the votes are in. Let's start from Mr. Smith.
Petrie.
Mr. Rowland.
Petrie.
Ms. Kazadabon is gone. Ms. Sodden.
Petrie.
Mr. Phillips.
Petrie.
Are you sure? Just Ms. Tanner.
Kitchen.
Petrie for me.
Kitchen.
Mr. Burke.
Godwin.
Ms. Kugel.
Petrie.
Ms. O'Brien.
Petrie.
Mr. Laughlin.
Petrie.
Mr. Bender.
Petrie.
Mr. Strickland.
Kitchen.
Clerk, do we have a tally?
Ms. Petrie got 9 votes, Ms. Godwin got 1 vote, and Ms. Kinchin got 3 votes.
Okay, Ms. Petrie is appointed to the library board. Congratulations. No, please. No applause. Thank you.
Now you need a motion and second on the resolution.
Mr. Phillips, you make a motion on a resolution to appoint Ms. Petrie? Motion on the resolution, second by Mr. Smith. Please vote on the resolution. Rick Smith.
Not only you, but tell everybody to make sure they get.
Please vote, everyone.
The motion is unanimous with 1 absent.
Okay, number 2 is a resolution to appoint 1 member to fill a vacant seat on the Board of Commissioners for the Regional Planning Commission, sponsored by me. We have only 1 nomination. Mr. Russell Richardson has withdrawn. So, Mr. Smith, 1 second, please.
Am I seconding? Did you make the nomination?
No, sir.
I'll make the motion to Adam Equistapace is my guy. I nominated him. He's the only one in the audience. I mean, he's the only one up for.
So it's an easy decision. We don't have to have.
So I
motions.
think he won without us voting, right?
You have to
We still have to vote.
Okay, let's vote.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Rowling. Mr. Equistapace, would you like to say any words or anything, or before we vote, just to seal it up?
I'll be brief. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the nomination. I'm honored for that. And I'm a lifelong resident of St. Tammany Parish. I'm an entrepreneur. Our family has businesses in Covington, Mandeville, and Slidell. I truly care about what happens in St. Tammany, and I look forward to working with you guys on the Regional Planning Committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Equistapace. We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with 1 absent.
Do we need anything else for that, Katrina? Are we good?
No.
Number 3 is a resolution to appoint 1 member to fill a vacant alternate seat. Board member has resigned on the Board of Commissioners for the St. Tammany Parish Planning and Zoning Commission. It's parish-wide. The nominations of Ms. Deborah Williams, Wes Blanchard, and Kirk Drum were made at the 9/4/2025 meeting. We need to pass out the voting sheets and go through the same process we went through for the library board, so please bear with us. We didn't have any speaker cards.
Have any cards?
You ready?
No, you're not, because you don't have your sheet. You have to read out.
Well, you could remember how you voted.
Relax.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Smith?
Wes Blanchard.
Mr. Rowley?
Mr. Blanchard.
Ms. Siden?
Blanchard.
Mr. Phillips?
Blanchard.
Ms. Tanner?
Blanchard.
Mr. Corbett?
Mr. Blanchard.
Mr. Burke?
Mr. Blanchard.
Mr. Kukul?
Mr. Williams.
Ms. O'Brien?
Miss Williams?
Mr. Laughlin?
Mr. Drum.
Mr. Bender?
Ms. Williams?
Mr. Strickland?
Ms. Williams.
Who did you vote for?
Mr. Blanchard?
Ms. Williams received 4 votes, Mr. Blanchard received 8 votes, and Mr. Drum received 1 vote.
Congratulations, Mr. Blanchard. So do we need a resolution on this as well, Katrina?
You do.
Can you do a resolution, Mr. Smith? Second by Ms. Siden. Mr. Phillips? Please vote on the resolution to appoint Mr. Blanchard to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Would you like to say anything briefly?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the council. I had touched base with most of you guys earlier this week and just made sure you had my resume. I look forward to working with all you guys for sure and making sure that your districts are represented well in the planning and zoning. I can hear obviously it can be contentious at times, but it requires attention to detail, and I'll definitely make sure that happens from my side of things.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thanks,
Blanchard.
everyone.
Everybody, please vote. The motion is unanimous with 1 absent.
Okay, number 4 is a resolution to reappoint Kevin Perilou to the Board of Commissioners for the St. Tammany Parish Fire District Number 12. Mr. Rowling?
Yes, I move to.
Motion by Mr. Rowley, second by Ms. Siden. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with 1 absent.
Number 5 is a resolution to reappoint Mr. Tom Davis to the Board of Commissioners for St. Tammany Parish Hospital Service District Number 1. Ms. Siden? Motion, Ms. Siden, second by Ms. Tanner. Is there any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with one absent.
Number 6 is a resolution to appoint Wendy Briers to fill a vacant seat. Terms expired on the Board of Commissioners for St. Tammany Parish Drainage District Number 4. Mr. Strickland? Motion, Mr. Strickland, second by Mr. Laughlin. Any discussion? Please vote.
And that motion is unanimous with one absent.
And number 7 is a resolution to appoint one member to fill a vacant seat. The board member has resigned on the Board of Commissioners for the St. Tammany Parish Recreation District Number 5. Mr. Burke, Kugel, and Strickland.
Mr. Kugel has his
Mr.
light
Kugel?
on.
Sierra Holloway.
Move to nominate Sierra Holloway. Second, Mr. Burke. So we need to vote on the nomination, please.
Vote on the
Vote on the appointment. There's only one nominee. I guess it's only one that we need to.
No, just vote. Please just vote. The motion is unanimous with one absent.
Thank you very much. Okay, the appointments segment is finished. We move on to the consent calendar. Any items not pulled from the consent calendar are automatically approved in whole by one vote. Items pulled from the consent calendar are discussed and voted upon individually. A majority vote of the entire council, 8, is required to adopt the consent calendar. We have ordinance number 1, ordinance calendar number 7937, number 14, ordinance calendar number 7976. This is resolution number 5.
Yes.
Resolution number 5, C-7185. Mr. Smith? Mr. Rowling? Ms. Seiden? Mr. Phillips? Ms. Tanner? Mr. Corbin? Mr. Burke? Mr. Kugel?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Ms. O'Brien? Mr. Laughlin? Mr. Bender? Mr. Strickland? Mr. Corbin, do you have a motion to adopt the consent calendar unless the item is pulled?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. Second by Ms. Tanner. Please vote. Tell me what I have to do.
The motion is unanimous with one absent.
Okay, number 1 is ordinance calendar number 7937. Ordinance to amend the St. Tammany Parish Code of Ordinances, Part 1, Chapter 40, Utilities, Article 11, Sewage from Septic and Sludge, Section 40, 330, Inspection of Individual Sewage Systems to require triennial inspections of individual sewage systems and the issuance of certificates of inspection related thereto, and to provide for other matters. Mr. Impastato, Mr. Corbin. So we have 2 substitute motions available, and we have a lot of speakers. We're going to open the floor up to speakers first. Excuse me. Same thing as before. We have Mr. Reichert Toledano first, followed by Ms. Christy Trail. Please step up there and be ready to speak next. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Thank you, Joe. Reichert Toledano, for the record, please. I'm here on behalf of this ordinance, and I want to start by first thanking and reiterating your comments about Mr. Menard. He was a pleasure to work with on the years that I was served in the position that you ladies and gentlemen do. This is an ordinance that's very, very dear to my heart and the heart of many. I want you to know, for those who have just come to the council, that this was vetted more so than any ordinance that I'm aware of in 8 or 10 years. That is to say, we worked on it for over a year. We had a great committee, and I want to acknowledge those people on that committee who included Mr. Brown, Tim Brown of the parish, Chris Tissue, Kevin Caillouette, Emily Couvillon, Peyton Gregg, Tim Smith, Jean Marino, and Terry Stevens. We met, I'm not sure how many times. We looked at this from every aspect. We realized that this is the most critical environmental legislation that you could possibly entertain, I believe, in this council. Some of y'all, and most of y'all have heard the numbers, over 36,000 of these facilities in this community, more so than any parish around this area. It is the greatest cause of pollution in St. Tammany Parish. So what we did is we set about trying to create an ordinance that would be fair to everybody, but would be environmentally the right thing to do going forward in the parish. And this is the product that we've come with. We've built in some controls and we've built in some exemptions. For instance, in districts such as Ms. Tanner, just not to single out, but just to make it clear, in areas where there's large pieces of property, we provided for exemptions. So I think we've covered just about everything that probably needs to be covered and could possibly be addressed. As you know, we had a pilot program and that was successful. So I'm urging you tonight to please introduce this ordinance and let us to continue to go forward with it. It I think is really one of the great things that you could do as a council to make St. Tammany Parish still the environmentally great place to live that we all know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. After Ms. Trail, we have Mr. Charlie Clark. Please state your name and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. My name is Christy Trail, and I'm the Executive Director of Pontchartrain Conservancy. We're here in support of this ordinance regarding sewage and septic and sludge, which requires triennial inspections of individual sewage systems and the issuance of certificates of inspection. For over 23 years, our organization has assisted thousands of homeowners across the Florida parishes, including many here in St. Tammany Parish. 2/3 of the parish relies on on-site wastewater treatment systems, most often aerated treatment units or ATUs. While homeowners often assume that these systems are working simply because the toilet flushes, the reality is different. Nationally, between 10 and 20% of these systems are not adequately treating waste. But here in St. Tammany, we've seen failure rates that can exceed 50% in some neighborhoods. The causes of failure are often preventable and include solids buildup, broken aerators, clogged lines, and even tree roots and heavy vehicles damaging components. When these systems fail, untreated or poorly treated sewage can enter our ditches, creeks, rivers, and eventually the lake, degrading water quality, contributing to impaired waterways, and creating public health and quality of life issues. A failed home sewer system is not just an individual homeowner's problem. It is a community problem, and those economic and health effects are shared by the community, not just the property owner. Our inspection programs have shown that regular monitoring and inspections make a difference. In the Abita River area, we performed over 1,300 inspections, most of these in the Tammany Hills area, and we found 53% of those systems were not operating properly. With follow-ups to each system, we were able to identify and help correct hundreds of failing systems. When we finished this program in this area 3 years later, 85% of homes were in compliance. This is a huge success. One system discharges about 500 gallons per day. But success does not occur without continued attention. Even systems that pass inspection can fail over time, as we saw during the COVID-19 shutdown when more people were home and inspections were paused. We support the parish's effort to begin triennial on-site home sewer inspections. The health of our waterways is tied directly to the health of our communities. By supporting this ordinance, we can reduce a clear public health risk, safeguard our rivers and bayous, and ensure St. Tammany remains a desirable place to live, work, and visit. Pontchartrain Conservancy has been a long-standing partner with St. Tammany Parish, and we want to be a resource for you all. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us anytime if you have any questions regarding home sewer systems. Thank you for your time and your continued commitment to protecting the parish's water resources.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. After Mr. Clark is Mr. Ed Kelly. Please step up to the front, Mr. Kelly, and be prepared to speak when Mr. Clark is complete. State your name for the record. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Charlie Clark. I live at 21458 Casrell, unincorporated Mandeville. And my story tonight is I hear, and as a conservationist myself, certainly I want to have clean waters and I want those things that make our parish flourish. But if you look at this issue, it represents over 1/3 of the population in St. Tammany Parish. We're about to unleash an enforcement entity on those people who are the least likely to pay to be able to bring their systems up to standard. You know, my brother and I have 60 years of state law enforcement. Law enforcement is the last thing you do to gain compliance. Education You know, Nike says it best. People like to be educated and not told. As a resident who has a septic system, I can tell you, I have never gotten anything that told me, number one, how to maintain my system, or number two, except for the conservancy, I believe it was last year or the year before, with 3 individuals who came around, one with a stethoscope, who wanted to hear if your aerator was actually blowing bubbles. So my concern here is that we've not done enough. I mean, this is our problem. I would have loved to have plugged into a central sewer system instead of buying an individual treatment plant for my house. The parish and the government didn't provide that for me. And I know it's no blame to you, but we fail so much along the way in these kind of categories. We don't have water, which means we don't have fire hydrants. We don't have firefighting capability unless the water truck comes. If you know anything about those water trucks, that's about 10 minutes worth of firefighting that goes on there. So the issue of government helping the citizens, you know, it's like everything else. If you would have October awareness for your septic tank month, and you would actually help people. I don't know many people, probably like you, who actually want to pollute our waters. So I think that there's a lot that we can do before we unleash law enforcement onto people, especially those people who can't afford to do it. You know, and one of the things I looked at where the genesis of this money is going to come from, and that's mosquito abatement. And I hope no one on the council believes we've won the mosquito war, because we haven't. Last night was the first time I heard the plane fly in months. And I believe that if we're going to have mosquito abatement money applied to anything, you
just try to wrap it up real quick. Your time is up. You had 3 minutes to speak.
Okay. And to close it all off, we need to help the people, help educate the people. If we're going to apply money in safety, health, and welfare, how about we keep the criminals in jail and we fund the DA if we have surplus money?
Well said.
Thank you for that.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, I'm sorry. Next is Ms. Bridget Bennett. Ms. Kelly, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and proceed.
Ed Kelly, Pearl River. On this proposal here, you're talking about, you know, triennial inspections. That's every 3 years. And from my understanding, there's like 20,000 to 30,000 sewer systems in the parish.
36.
How are you, that's 10,000 a year you would have to do if you staggered it out. How are you going to do 10,000 inspections a year? This is what it says right here, triennial, which is every 3 years. So that would be 10,000 inspections. How are you going to do 10,000 inspections? Who's going to pay for that? How is the parish going to pay for that? Are they going to be qualified people that's taking these samples? Are they sealing them? Are they tagging them? Are they sending them to a lab that's qualified and calibrated by DEQ standards? Or is it just going to be nothing against the parish worker or something? Or is it just going to be the guy from the parish going out there, putting it in a little cup, screwing the lid on? Oh yeah, this came from this address, here we go. They get mixed up, and then you're going after this person over here that is totally legal when you use the other person's sample, because you got them mixed up because there's no track and no quality control of that, and just the cost of it. And when you damage, parish comes on. I'm still fighting them, the drainage department, about damage they've done on my property for almost 3 years now. Nobody has answered who's going to pay for that. Parish just, Public Works just keeps denying we're not paying for it. There needs to be something in that law. Parish comes on somebody's property to do something, they damage it, they are responsible, and the person should have the opportunity to confront the department head or something instead of having to go through the council that does not have no control over the parish, over the department head. Because we got to go to parish council. Okay, they go there. They do what they can, but they can't tell them go do this. You need to put some teeth in that. And the thing is, there's already controls in place. I replaced my house 10 years ago. You got to go to Covington, Slidell, to Towers Building, Robert Road, through the DEQ, get all these permits, pay all these fees and stuff before you can get your power turned on or get anything done to get your house back in order. There's already stuff in place. So out of these, say, 20, 30,000 people, how many of them is over, say, 10 years or so? Because if somebody just built the house within 5 years, that sewer system's still going to be working fine, the aerator and everything. You know, I think it's a little overkill, especially triennial. Every 3 years, that's 10,000 a year. There's no way you're going to accomplish that. And that's all I have to say. You need to figure something else out. I'm all for clean water, don't get me wrong, but this is overkill right here.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your time. After Ms. Bennett is Chief Warhorse.
Good evening. I'll be quick. I just want to say this does not affect me. I live in a town where I pay for all these services, but I know a lot of people that it will affect, and I've heard the same thing from all of them. I will start with saying that I believe in the value of mosquito abatement, and I don't want to see it go anywhere, but I will say that if they have an extra $1.5 million in their budget to give to you guys, they probably need to roll something back, and or, you know, go back to the voters and see what they want to do with that. I don't think it's fair that, you know, they can give this much money to something that not everybody agrees on. Secondly, I just want to say that I am in full support of clean waters. I'm not against this. I think that it's a good thing, but I think as it stands right now, it's not a good thing. I know that you guys have been working to tweak it a little bit and have done so, but I think it needs a lot more work. And with the idea that we still don't know how we're going to fund the DA, I think, you know, that's probably more important than this. So I would just like to see you guys go back to the table and make a few more modifications to this before you rush it through. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Warhorse is Bennett Harris. Please be prepared.
Okay.
State your name. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Chief Warhorse. I live on Dixie Ranch Road. Most of y'all know how I feel about it, but I do want to say this. I know y'all all have been working hard with different packets, plans, and those who have done that, I know you didn't waste your time, but we have not been included in everything. So you all then came together, I think, with 1 or 2 plans. I'm still standing not in my district, okay? We want the opportunity, as the people who are going to be the victims, to see all packets before anything is finalized. I think we as the citizens have a right to see and understand what is being put before you all and before us to be voted on. Next, I would like to say this. I don't know how they're going to do the 10,000 either, sir, because they can't get the ditches straight. And we don't know who to point fingers at for the drainage. If I call my councilman, he said, "Oop, not me." So, Mr. President, they've been pointing us to you now. Through this thing, they say, come to you. We need to know first as citizens, who is representing us with what? Because we are confused. Who do we go to for what? Can y'all make us a manual or something? We don't know what to do. And I'm speaking not for myself, but for other people who are confused. So if we're telling you all we are confused, and you're still gonna rush something upon us, that's not fair. We want better understanding. We wanna know our property is protected. You know, my family lost a lot of property because of people who was elected officials who could pass laws to change things that made them lose a lot. So I watch laws. I love Arthur, I love Jimmy, but I don't want them to protect my land without not telling me what they're doing to protect it. I think we need to not rush this. I hear some people saying we're going to do this by January. What's the rush? I'm agreeing with the gentleman. If you want to do something, let's join forces and have community education about the proper things with the sewer while looking for funding to eliminate the whole overall issue. We all want clean water. We are not fighting you, and I don't want to fight you, but we got to fight for ourselves if you all are not going to represent us. You're elected to bring what we want from the district to this council, and we trust in you all for that. please consider putting this thing off to get some education or 2 packets that y'all don't even know about yourself too much and help educate the community. Stop running this race fast. I'm going to say it in my grandfather's word and I'm going to close. Fast horse run fast, don't last long.
Mr. Harris. After Mr. Harris is Mr. Lawrence Hark. You have 3 minutes, sir. Please state your name and proceed.
My name is Bennett Harris, and I'm representing the honeybee community today. This ordinance that you're trying to put on us about the sewage, first you need to get us some drainage. Our ditch go from one end of the street down to the end, it makes a circle, comes back up to my end, makes a circle, goes down to our mailbox and goes under the street. The water is not going nowhere. We don't have drainage. It's not feeding out to Bayou Paquet. Bayou Paquet is on the other side of 190. Then you're gonna say, you're gonna find these people, my community, everybody in there is mostly in their 80s. They've been there for years. They have septic tanks, some of them. Some of the newer homes, we have treatment plants. But if you say you're gonna fine somebody $100 a day, 3 months, that's $10,000. You're shutting off their utilities and you're trying to put a lien on their land. That's not fair to us. We try to do what we can with what we got. They haven't cut the ditches in 10 years. 10 years. And then when I called and told them I got a new home put in, they came and they dug in front of my house from one end of my property line to the other. Where's the water going? I had to tell them that I was gonna sue the parish because the ditches had came up to my treatment plant pipe before they come to dig them. We didn't have no street lights. It's dangerous curves. It's not even a road wide enough for a bus, the school bus, come down the street. You gotta get off the street and let the school bus go by. We don't have no fire hydrants. If your house catch on fire, they bring one truck, and if one truck can't get past another truck, they gotta go all the way to Thompson Road to get water to come back. Every house that done caught on fire in the neighborhood has burned down. This is not fair, people. It's not fair. You need to take this under consideration. And like I said, most of the people in my community are retired. Most of the people on the front are in their 80s and 90s. They can't afford $100 a day. There's no way that it could be done and be fair. It's a land grab.
Mr. Lawrence Hark, is it? Okay, Ms. Elizabeth Teague. After Ms. Teague is Mr. Matthew Allen. Mr. Lawrence, just have a seat. We'll get you right after Mr. Allen.
Hi, some of you do know who I am, and others I have not really even personally spoken to before. 40 years ago, I sat where you sit. This has been deja vu for me, and also it's been a little hard to watch because it's the same stuff. But the main thing and the main reason I'm here to speak tonight is when I took a look at this, and I had a septic tank when I built my house almost 50 years ago in Oak Manor subdivision, which is next to the nudist camp there on Highway 190. And the gentleman from Honeybee, I can tell you where his water goes. It goes all over my neighborhood too, and still does not get down to Bayou Liberty. But the main thing I think we need to look at here is not the fact that we've got poor drainage, or the fact that we're fighting people about the fact that we do need to not pollute our rivers and our streams and eventually, of course, Lake Pontchartrain. But what we got to look at is that we don't put the cost of that onto those of us, now that I'm retired, that can least afford that. After Hurricane Katrina, I lived in a home where I had 100 trees go down. I live on about an acre, 8 on the house. My insurance would pay for the 8. FEMA got in touch and said, oh, we'll come get the rest for you. So I was working at the hospital at the time. I marked off in yellow where my field bed was. I know a little bit about septic tanks and that sort of thing. And they ran their equipment over that, and everything backed up into my house. So at that point in time, I did have to replace my system with a full system with the aerator and the new tank and a whole new field bed. And at that time, it was almost $4,000, and that's been 20 years ago. Okay, so the thought of having to do something like that to people and then to find them as well is putting the cost of this on the people less likely to be able to afford it. And that was the part of this bill that I had the most problem with, not cleaning it up, but that part. And that's the part that really needs to be worked at. And I would suggest to you that you seriously look at that. And then also look at some of the things I've heard tonight that I thought were very positive as far as letting people know they need to get their septic tank pumped. I even get my system pumped. Okay, and the fact that I've also had to replace my aerator at least once, but that's on me, and that should be something that people know is going to be part of their, if they move out into the county or into the parish, they know that that's going to be an expense they look at. This other that I see written now is not. And so I would suggest to you greatly and very seriously, you know, it's not, we don't need something that helps us have a better life and have a better area. I mean, when I sat where you do, there was no building code in St. Tammany 40 years ago.
Ms. Teague, time is up. Thank you very much. Mr. John, after Mr. Allen is Mr. What was it? State your name and please proceed, sir.
All right, thank you. I'm Matthew Allen, representing North Shore River Watch again, and they're handing out just a couple pages I wanted you to see. First off, North Shore River Watch does support stronger inspections. It is a problem. As Ms. as Ms. Trail said, their study showed about 50% of the home systems are failing. I've read the study. Great job with the science, by the way. I really appreciate the work y'all do. But I'd like to bring facts, okay? One fact is, you get permits for commercial properties, you get health and hospitals approval for sewer systems for individual home ones. That doesn't mean it's clean water coming out. A permit is permission to add pollutants. So every single home you add in on an individual sewer plant, even if it's working perfectly, is going to add pollutants to the environment. It's a big issue. And it's an issue we're running into with the small individual community plants that you'll get for each subdivision. And that's a big point I wanted to make out, to do. But this is a small step. I mean, this is a small step on what y'all need to do. So we are supporting it. There's no doubt about it. We do need to clean up our waterways. I haven't swam in the Lower Defunct in 20 years because it's been so polluted. When I was teaching, we'd have students who'd swim in the Lower Defunct. I taught at Mandeville High for 20 years. They'd come in after a weekend and all their little cuts would have staph infections and stuff in them. This is a public health issue that has not been addressed in over 40 years. And really, this is almost kicking the can down the road for what really needs to happen. Let's be clear about this. We need regional sewer treatment. And if you look at that packet, that first page I have for y'all, this is from the EPA website on treatment plants. Every little pink triangle is a permitted commercial sewer plant. Now, most of them are under $10,000. You know, a lot of these small businesses have to have their own, but a lot of them are these individual package plants that run anywhere from, 20, 30,000 gallons a day to 100,000 gallons a day. And they don't always work. The next page, we did a study in January on a sewer treatment plant for Lake Ramsey, looking at the discharge monitoring reports. Not a single month in 4 years were they in compliance. These plants don't work well, and I can give you examples forever of problems we've had with sewer treatment plants discharging poorly into the systems. So we need to do regional. That would solve a lot of the problems and get rid of me from a lot of your meetings too. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Al. Mr. Lawrence, you have 3 minutes, sir. Please state your name. After Mr. Lawrence is Ms. Sherry
He got me
Rowland.
talking for him a little bit because he can't hear.
I can't hear.
State your name.
I'm Lawrence Hawk.
Okay, give me where you live at. Where you live at?
60524 North Ridgewood Drive.
Okay. He basically came up, Jimmy, to show support to you is what he's saying, him and his wife. You know they have community meetings in your district. He's here to let you know that they would rather for you to stick with them, with not in their district. So he came basically to speak on letting you know that. Did I do good?
Go ahead. You speak for me.
All right. So Jimmy, that's basically what he wanted you to know. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Rowland, I'm sorry. And after Ms. Rowland is Mr. Aaron Williams. Mr. Williams, please step up to the front. Ms. Rowland. Mr. Williams, you have the podium. Please state your name, and you have 3 minutes. Ms. Rowland's not here.
Aaron Williams from Rural 6th Ward. I'm here against the ordinances, both of them that are currently proposed. The first one, the numbers don't add up. I was at the community meeting with Mr. Tim Brown. He sent me some of the information. They claim 50% or more failure rate. They did a 1,000 unit test run. They found actual failed inspections of 21.4%. They then included another 10% as failures because they didn't look at them. That still only adds up to 35%, not the 50. So the numbers don't make sense. They claimed that it would be $100 per inspection, yet we're allocating around $800,000 to this. Those numbers don't add up either. None of this makes sense. Also, one proposal only looks at the aeration. No water quality testing was done. In order to promote that, there were 12 samples taken from around the parish. 12. 600 miles of ditches mosquito abatement treats, and they took 12 samples to promote this. They did test them, however, they did not have any specs on what they should be, what's good, what's bad, what's not. They just said, here's the numbers, and we have to figure that out for ourselves, what they mean. So we still don't know what those 12 samples even mean, where they were collected, or anything. The second proposal from Mr. Kugel actually has water sample testing as part of it. Personally, if one of them goes through, I would like to see that one, but with more time. There has to be some more testing, more clear paths on what has to happen. The water quality testing, if this is really about water quality in our waterways, we have to test the water. If we're not sampling water quality, we're just running around throwing money at a problem that may not be the problem. We need to actually find the source of the problem and fix it. And this parish has enough money issues. If we have $800,000 to throw at an ambitious project like this, we can put that somewhere else and look at this more closely and do something meaningful rather than just say that we're doing something. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We have Mr. Mac Lambert. After Mr. Lambert is Mr. Michael Brewster.
Everything's been said already.
Okay, Mr. Lambert. Mr. Brewster, do you feel the same way? Okay. We have no more speakers. I'm so sorry. Spruger, step up to the podium. You have to state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll read this quick. My name is Mike Brewster. I live 57247 Page Street, Slidell. I'm against this ordinance. It's going to make undue hardship for the homeowners and people. We are struggling right now. Some people are struggling right now just trying to pay rent on their houses and losing their properties. And this here would be more extra burden on them. I think this thing be either canceled, tabled, or reviewed and looked at later on. And that's all I have to say.
You want to speak? Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Let's bring it back to the council. We have Mr. Corbin.
Okay, can I make my motion?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to substitute for the motion that's out, or the ordinance that's out there. It's a complete substitution. I'd be happy to go over it in detail.
Please go over it in detail, I think.
Okay, in listening to everyone talk tonight, I took notes and I wrote down 13 specific items that were referenced. And what I'm going to walk through is I believe we've addressed all 13 of them that were raised. I heard about education. I heard about we're rushing this through. I heard about excuse me. I heard about fines of $100 a day. I've heard about income, low income. I've heard about what we're doing to people. I've heard about a need for regional sewage treatment. I don't doubt that we do need that, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. But what I'm going to talk through is we have written an ordinance. This is not an ordinance that's been rushed through. As was mentioned earlier, this was worked on for over a year by the Undertreated Wastewater Task Force as part of the last council. Then this was introduced in August, and there were some questions about the quality of our ordinance, and so we spent the last 2 months working on that ordinance. Since the time that it was originally introduced, and this has been posted for a week and a half. It's been posted and updated, but as it's made minor changes in the last day. In fact, there was a minor update, and I'll explain to you what it was that was made yesterday. This has been posted for a week and a half, so it's out there, well out there for everybody to take a look at. Even though the actual ordinance was in the packet, these two amendments, mine as well as Councilman Kugel's, have both been posted so that the public can read those ordinances. Let me walk through what we've changed. First off, we limited the area of impact for this by focusing below the urban growth boundary. So everything of properties above the urban growth boundary will not be subjected to this ordinance. Those properties are going to be subjected to the ordinance that's in place today. That ordinance in place today is every time there's power changes, it gets inspected, and there was some question about the ability to conduct 12,000 inspections per year. Right now, the team conducts 2,000 inspections per year for power transfers. So they understand the process, they understand the inspection, and they've been doing it for quite some time. In addition, if you think about it, think about how properties are located when somebody's turning on power or they're buying or selling a home. Those properties, nobody does that in a whole neighborhood. That's over here, and then it's in this neighborhood, and it's up in this neighborhood. Think about how inefficient it is to go do that. Imagine the program we're proposing would go into a neighborhood and work through the whole neighborhood in a sequential fashion. Think about how much more efficient that is versus spending all that time driving from place to place. Just to go to a neighborhood. I have a sewage treatment system in my home. I live in Quail Ridge. I've had it the whole time I've lived there. I still have it, and it still functions. We talked about how these things are certified. Why would we only look at the mechanical side and not go measure the water? I don't know how many of you know how these systems are certified in order that they can be permitted by the Louisiana Department of Health. The way they're permitted so that you can go install them in your home is they take a system in an engineering environment, a full system, they put an influent into it, and they run the effluent for it, and they make sure that it reduces some credible quantity in terms of what it does to the water to improve the water quality. It's done in a lab environment. What makes that function? What makes it function are the mechanical components that are embedded in that system. The aerator and a stirrer, those kind of components are what makes that system function fundamentally different than a septic tank. A septic tank doesn't do any of that. That's anaerobic versus aerobic. By pumping in the air, you get a much more efficient processing, and you're getting a much cleaner product. Is it potable water? It's not potable water. But is it cleaner water? It's much cleaner. Septic tanks produce undertreated or in some cases untreated waste deposited in our ditches if it goes directly to the ditch, and that is not an acceptable configuration in today's environment. We talked about funding. The funding originally when this was first talked about, we estimated to be $100 per home to have these to get your inspection certificate. We have found funding by working with mosquito abatement and also funding that the Department of Environmental Services has in their own budget, so we can go eliminate the cost of the fee. So there's no fee for your certification. So when your certification when you have your system inspected, there's no fee attached to it. They come and inspect it. They give you a certification for it, inspection certification, and that is transferable. So this will, for the areas of below the urban growth boundary, which we're talking about, the coastal areas, but below the urban growth boundary, those areas, once they're inspected, they will not be subjected to property transfers anymore or power turnovers. The certificate that comes with this is transferable to the next person. In addition, the certificate is good for 3 years. However, if, for example, the parish hasn't got back to you and said, you know, your system's up for reinspection, then your inspection certificate moves forward administratively until the parish notifies you that it's time for a new inspection. So you're not going to be getting fined because you missed it and you forgot that you didn't notice that your inspection had expired. In addition, to address the waterways that have the highest concentration, someone mentioned a pilot study. There's a pilot study of 1,000 properties. The pilot study was done in districts 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, and 13. 13 is my district. They looked at 1,000 studies. The gentleman was correct. 21.5% failure. That's what the failure rate was. They referenced things and listed it on the sheet as failures if they couldn't get to the property or couldn't get access. That was not used in any of the calculations that we used in building this ordinance. We used only ones that were inspected and actually failed. And of those, 21.5% failed. On the program where we're looking at things at power, the failure rate is as high as 50%. The lady from the Pontchartrain Conservancy told you what the failure rate they've experienced. Those are not fake numbers. We can provide the study if you want to take a look at it. If you want to see the results and see what happened, we can provide that information to you. This is supported by data. I'm a person that, in God we trust, all of us bring data. I'm a person who believes in data, and we use data to go formulate this process. We're going to, in this program, we've targeted focusing on areas, just I mentioned, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, and 13. The coastal properties, do those first. We already know those are the worst places. Now, why would we not do, as part of our initial program, why wouldn't we do above the urban growth boundary? Because most of those systems are going to be exempt because they're on property. They've got plenty of room to dispose of their waste on their own property. It's not coming off their property, so it's not getting into our waterways. Not the same as dense developments where we have drainage directly into a ditch and then it flows into the ditch into the waterways. Other things that we've done. Somebody mentioned the fines. We have reduced the fines. The fines are not $100 a day. They're not $100 a week. The fines have been reduced to $100 a month, unless you're a landlord, and then they're $500 a month. So that's a very relatively inexpensive relative to the fines. But we've also built in timelines for when those fines come into play. The fines come into play if you're not making any effort to improve your system and bring it out of non-compliance. As long as you're moving forward, then the timelines come into play, and you're not going to get fined until you quit making progress and you give up on fixing your system. In addition, somebody mentioned education. Excuse me, sir.
Sir, please.
Somebody mentioned education. We have a paragraph, if you go read it, paragraph 3, page 2, specifically addresses education of the public. DES is required to go develop a communication plan to communicate to the parish the different neighborhoods and areas as we start to move into those areas to help them understand what are the requirements, why are we doing it, why is this necessary, what do you need to do to maintain your system. That's already embedded in this ordinance. So that's another change we made. In addition, there's testing as part of this. The testing is, once you go start doing this, we want to know if we're making any effect. Right now, the parish is working with the Pontchartrain Conservancy again. There's a $313,000 grant from the EPA to go measure water quality in 20 locations on a monthly basis. So we're going to be able to, as we're rolling this program out and starting, we're going to be collecting data once a month in 20 locations to make sure that what we're doing is having an impact and in fact yielding the benefits that we believe it's going to. In addition, we have a low-income grant program. Currently on the current program for power transfers that exists, we have a low-income grant program that covers for people that make less than $75,000 in a household, which is the HUD cutoff. For people in that category, they get 100% cost reimbursement for the cost of repair and/or replacement. You hear that? 100% reimbursement for the cost of repair and/or replacement. In addition, we're working with local lending institutions to also see if we can get in place a low-interest loan program for people that aren't low enough on the income ladder to qualify for free, but to find a way to let them have a way to get their systems fixed too. It is triennial. That is exactly correct. We're going to have regular sampling. We added there's one of the sections that I added that we added in the last day was to have sampling done by DES in order to inform the prioritization of what neighborhoods and what areas we go work on first. It's in the book. It's in our ordinance. We talked about a non-conforming system. Talked about the urban growth boundary. We are inspecting mechanical systems. I explained why we're doing that. You get a certificate of compliance. As I said, the penalties have been substantially reduced. I think that we have addressed the 13 different items that I wrote down that we picked up from our last meeting when this was first tried to be introduced, and the conversations we've had in the community meetings we held to go get feedback on what we're trying to go do. So this is not a rush job. This is in my opinion, is a well thought out, comprehensive approach to improving the water in our area. And I recognize that for people that may not be able to afford making the adjustments, they're going to have the improvements after they get inspected. They may have to get a low interest loan, or they may have to get a grant. But the important thing that I think we need to remember is we are all suffering having polluted waterways by not having those systems repaired and functional. So this program will get things improved. We've also I worked with Mr. Tim Brown, or we've worked with Mr. Tim Brown and Tim Smith. They've laid out what it's going to go take to be able to service and inspect 12,000 systems a year, which is what you'd have to do to get through our 36,000 systems that exist in St. Tammany. We are #1 in the state of Louisiana for individual sewage treatment systems. We should not be proud of that. That is not something that we should be proud of and we want to have in our place. But we've worked with them to go help them understand what it's going to take to get through those. Once you get the exemptions in, that number will go down over time. So I believe, in my opinion, that we've done a good job of listening to the public, listening to people, what their needs are, understanding what we can do, what we can't do, and what the benefits are of going and doing something. We could sit and do nothing, but we know exactly what's going to happen to our waterways if we do nothing. It's time for us to do something. In my opinion, it's time for us to be a leader in the state and go implement a program to go help improve our waterways. We got more growth coming our way. We need to get our waterways cleaned up so our kids can play in them, so our grandkids can play in them, and so we can live, work, play, and raise our families in an environment of clean water. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Corbin. So that's a motion for an amendment to amend the original ordinance. We're going to get a second. Second. Now it's on the floor still. Substitute. Okay.
Yeah.
Motion and second. It's on the floor. We'll go to Mr. Kugel, Mr. Rick Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to first mention, I do have concerns about this proposed amendment. This is an amendment to a substitute. We received substantial changes at 6:53 this morning. I don't know if all of us read it, but I doubt the public did. And I just checked online. And remember, we have two proposed substitutes, one by my colleague and one by me. This is an amendment to the substitute, and I'm pulling the one up online, and that is not even what's online right now. It's still the substitute, which is not what we're voting on. I guess what we were talking about voting on, but not actually what we're going to vote on. I just feel at this point we're kind of at the stage of throwing stuff against the wall and hoping something sticks. I mean, no one even knows what we're doing here.
Please.
No one
we're not going to have that.
No one even knows what we're voting on. And I don't think this is transparent. I don't think the public even knows what we're voting on. We still have, my concerns are we still are taking $500,000 a year from mosquito. As someone mentioned, maybe we should look at, if they have that extra money. I have some other concerns here. We're still looking at a cost, because the estimate was the passage of this ordinance would mandate at least 3,000, if not more, new septic systems be purchased. Average price, $6,000. That's $18 million. And you talk then about the repairs that are going to be required. That's another, I mean, how many thousands of those? Those are around $1,500 each. We're about to mandate this spending of $25 million at least in this parish with this ordinance. I think one of my constituent mentioned about 12,000 inspections a year, 10,000. It's actually probably 12. But I wanted, on that, one of my biggest concerns is they do not have testing. I keep hearing this word testing for the inspections. They do not have water testing. And one of my biggest concerns is, in the last week I was using DuckDuckGo instead of Google, and I just happened upon this model ordinance on one of the state websites. It was the Department of Natural Resources. Somehow we were never made aware that there was a model ordinance for how we were supposed to do this at the municipal and parish level. And what is interesting about it is not only does it not mention 3 years, it actually says 5, and it also says you should do bacteria inspections when you do an inspection. But we don't have this in what's being proposed here. Why are we saying we're so focused on water quality and we're not even going to test the water of the septic systems? That just makes no sense to me. I mean, this is other concerns is, again, significant incursions on people's property. We're talking about $12,000 a year going into people's backyard without any legitimate suspicion even that they are not compliant. But we're going to go there anyway when they're not home. This is a big government program. I mean, there's just no way around that. And going back to one of my biggest concerns is we have literally made up our own standard for this parish. We have a state model that we're just ignoring. And I'm honestly myself kind of concerned, why were we never made aware of this? That there is a state model that the state took their time to make, and we were not even aware that this existed. I don't understand that. One last thing is, again, that one of the things that we were just mentioned today is the urban growth boundary is apparently now exempt. Why? If this is so important, why are we now exempting parts of the parish? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, no one even understands what we're doing here. Let's just be honest. I mean, I don't even understand because I got told at 6:53 this morning, now actually you're going to do something different than what's online. So, you know, I have after this, I oppose this amendment to the substitute, which I think is where we are at this point. I appreciate one of the individuals. I think you clearly know your stuff. You know more about this than me, to be honest. You mentioned, like, I mean, look, what I am proposing is a surgical method that is very just focused on let's find where the pollution is and stop it. That's all I'm interested in. That's what we've told people we're focused on here, but instead what's being proposed right now is a huge government program. I don't know how we're going to spend money on it. No one even knows what we're planning to vote on. Thank you.
Just to be clear before we move on, we're not voting to adopt anything tonight. Everything is simply for introduction. So the only adoption of any ordinance will not be regarding this issue will not be until November. Next, we have Mr. Smith.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Councilman Corbin, for eliminating a lot of the notes that I also had. And to my other colleague, Councilman Kugel, maybe you don't understand it, but I understand it. This is not a rush. This thing's been going on with this council for over a year now, and the previous council actually started it. So I'd say it's a very slow-moving ordinance. I mean, government as a whole moves slow, but this is ridiculously slow. There's a lot of accusations and a lot of misinformation being spouted up here at the podium. One gentleman and one lady, I believe, kind of insinuated that mosquito abatement district is giving money away, insinuating that maybe they've got too much money and that they're just giving it away, and maybe you know, we need to do something about that. I take offense with that. Mosquito abatement district is coming up with $500,000 per year for the next 3 years so that the inspections cost the residents $0. And why would they want to invest that $500,000 a year? Well, you know why? Because it's going to help them with mosquito control. You see, the polluted ditches that these houses with these broken systems that are flushing toilets and bath water and whatever else, and it flows into the ditches, which go into the tributaries, into the rivers, and pollute it. They also kill the fish that eat the mosquito larvae. So the mosquito abatement district said, this is an investment. We're not giving you anything. You're going to help us by doing this to help us control the mosquito problems that we have in this parish. So don't think that they're just having so much money. Hey, here's 1.5 million we're going to give you. They're not giving us anything. They're investing their dollars to control mosquitoes in our parish because the ditches are so polluted that the natural way that the larva gets eaten is these little fish. They can't survive in the ditches because they're too polluted. The same ditches that little kids play in, okay? Though that ditch, the fish can't live in it. So, you know,
please keep it down.
If you don't have any pride in your parish and you like being known for having beautiful rivers, a beautiful lake, and yet it doesn't bother you that it's polluted, it's polluted with human waste, okay? If that doesn't bother you, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Now, I have empathy for those that may not be able to afford replacement of their systems, okay, if and when they're deemed to be inoperable or need to be replaced. But we're working very diligently with our grant department, with local credit unions, to try and find ways that those that are below the poverty threshold won't have to pay anything. Now, I heard somebody mumble something about landlords. Well, landlords don't fit that bill for me, because if you're a landlord and you've got rental properties, you ought to be keeping it up, okay? So, yes, you get fined $500 a month if you don't want to address the problem. If you're living there, it doesn't affect you if you're a renter. But if you own a property and you're below that threshold of income, we're going to work with you, and it may or may not cost you anything, okay? So, with that being said, this is an ordinance that I don't care if it came out at 4:30 this morning. It was very minor adjustments, okay? And if you don't understand it, I'll be happy to sit down and go over it with you. I don't have anything else to say, but I thank you, Mr. Corbin, for explaining a lot of things that were addressed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Mr. Laughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate my constituents. I have constituents from both sides of my district. So for y'all who don't know, I always like to repeat this. I go from Slidell to Abita. I'm the guy in the middle. And everybody in my area is mostly sewer and septic. I'm not sure where to begin on this, but we've got this wrong. The spirit of this is wrong. Charlie, you were the first one to say law enforcement should be the last thing we do. The paradigm of this ordinance is to punish people, is to put it on you. Well, let me tell you something. This is our fault, okay? Not me and this council, but the police jury before, whoever permitted this, okay? They said this is what you want. We want these types of plants. We want them to discharge to the ditch, and that's how you should build your house. So y'all are not to blame. And I think our priorities are wrong. Our job is to dig the ditches, cut the grass, and pave the roads. We're not doing that. The last thing we need to do is add another task to the list of things that we do not do right in this parish. And then, forgive me for being political, but as a Republican, I cannot enlarge the government anymore. And this is nothing but government overreach. We do not need to be doing this. Matthew, you said the solution is regional sewer. Regional sewer means getting our state and federal partners to come in and put real sewer systems here. Y'all, I'm a transplant from New Orleans. I remember the first time I got called out to go look at someone's ditch, and I saw that effluent pipe come out, and I go, what is that? And when they explained to me what that was, I was like, okay, we got a problem. But and Ms. Teague, you could probably confirm, the police jury, our predecessors probably approved this, and when we permitted it, we gave you permission. So the last thing we can do is blame y'all for our mistake. Thank you.
Ms. O'Brien, there's no applause, please. Ms. O'Brien.
Chairman, I'd like to call Tim Brown up, please.
Mr. Brown and Mr. Smith should probably remain close to the podium.
Mr. Brown, I had asked about some literature that would be given to constituents when they came in and talked about stuff. And what I had in my mailbox, I believe, is this, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's all we're handing out right now?
No, that's what we handed out at your district meeting that you had here in the council chambers.
Okay. What are we handing out to constituents regarding educating them about septic maintenance?
As part of this new program, we will be handing that literature out. We have some that's a little bit aged, it's older, and we need to refresh that information, but a large component, the major component of this new ordinance will be homeowner education.
Okay, maybe you misunderstood my question. I said, what are we currently giving people when we're trying to educate them about septic maintenance?
Yeah, currently we're just meeting with the customers on site, the residents on site. If they're available, we walk through the system with them and explain how things work.
Okay. I know in the past we had some literature that was given to people, because I know I have a system, and at one point I had an electrical problem, and thank God y'all, put a door hanger, because I could have possibly had my house burned. But I had some brochures that were very specific about educating how to properly maintain. I personally think that we need to improve what we're doing and get that information out to people already. Since we've been talking about this for such a long period of time, I'm very disappointed that we're not doing more of that. I would have liked to have that at my community meeting also. That's the only thing I had to ask you, Tim.
Can I just mention, there have been so many iterations of this. When we finally produce that document, we want it to be specific to this program, so that people know what the requirements are.
Okay, but basic maintenance is what I'm talking about. And I know we did that in the past, and I guess I'm struggling to understand why we're not doing that currently. But that was my only question about what we're handing out.
Yes, ma'am.
But you may want to sit close to the front, because somebody else may want to ask a question. We did get something this morning at about a little bit before 7 o'clock, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't have a totally clear day where I could sit down and read it. I wanted to have an opportunity to talk to somebody who knows more about this. I'm a school teacher by trade. You talk to me about kids, I can get you to help your kids learn and all this other stuff, but I'm not an expert on this. Now, I will say this, everybody I know wants cleaner water, but the devil's always in the details. And as a policy, I don't like voting to approve something that I don't even have 24 hours to read, especially if it's lengthy. And I have to say, I'm hearing that it was online. Now, I know the amended substitute to the original is not online. The amended substitute, the First Amendment substitute, is online. So, I don't know, for me personally, I feel ethically I should be able to read it and understand it, and I feel like maybe, I don't know, when we've waited on this 2 months, I would think I would feel more comfortable at least 48 hours or a week. I know some people asked to be involved in the planning of this. I don't know if that occurred. I think that's a valid request from the community. I would really like for somebody to tell me were some of the people who, if I recall correctly, they requested that at the last meeting. So I would really like to know, did they have an opportunity to give input in this so everybody's concerns and questions could be addressed? I think that's being transparent, and I think that's being fair. Honestly, when I found about the state standards, I thought to myself, why are we not focusing more on the state standards? And if we are truly concerned about water quality, why are we not testing water? I don't know that my constituents would appreciate a change in requirements or testing for my district, and it's different for somebody else. I don't know that that would go over well with everybody in my district. So I'm not saying I don't want to do this. Look, we need to have clean water. I absolutely agree. But the road to you know what is paved with a bunch of good intentions. And We have great intentions. And look, I want to compliment the people on this council who have worked very hard. Tim has worked very hard. But I'm going to say one thing. A fact sheet about an ordinance that's been amended multiple times is not enough in my mind. If we are truly worried about making sure septic systems are functioning properly, we have to help educate. And I know we used to have brochures to do that. I don't understand why we're not doing that now, which gives me concern about growing government. Because as a conservative, I believe in less government, not more government. And I think a lot of my constituents believe that too. So I think that the intentions have been wonderful. And we all agree we need clean water. The decision is, how do we get there? And I have to tell you, for me personally, I'm leaning towards state standards. And I'm leaning towards allowing people to have an opportunity to give input because they've asked for it several times. Did we do that? I'm seeing some people shaking their heads no. I think that's a fair question. That's a fair request. This is supposed to be transparent. We always tell people we want them more involved. Well, let's let them be involved. We want to do it right. I have some concerns. I don't, just as a policy, I don't like to approve something that I don't have a chance to read and understand and ask questions about. And that's where we're at right now. And no disrespect to anybody, I know multiple people have worked very, very hard, and they've done a lot of great work. So I want to compliment both sides. They really deserve a compliment. The goal is to make this better for all of us. It's how do we get there? And I think that's important. And I personally would like to postpone this because I want to understand it better. And we've looked at this for a long time. I want to do it right. I don't want it to be a check mark. Look at what we did. I want to do it right. And I would think if I see some heads shaking, I would think some other people agree with what I'm saying. If we're going to do it, let's do it right. I always say I'd rather do it right than do it fast. Okay, this is not fast. I have to admit, this is not fast. Okay? Nobody will argue that. But I still think there's more work to be done. And honestly, as a council member, I want to honor their request to be involved in this program. And I want them to have their questions and concerns answered. Please, somebody tell me if that opportunity was given, because I'm not aware that it was.
We had 5 public meetings. We had 3 in Slidell, and we had 2 on this side of the parish.
Okay, and where was that advertised? And I don't know how many people were aware of it. And how many people attended? Let me ask you that.
The one in the Towers building, we probably had 40 people there.
Good.
50.
I was not aware of that meeting.
The one over here, we had your district meeting here, and we also had...
yeah, but my community meeting was not just that.
No.
Y'all were at an open house for that. You know, you were able to hand out stuff, and we handed out the ordinance fact sheet.
And then we had several in Mr. Strickland's district, and we had one other over here in the council chambers that was not well attended.
Okay, but I know some people specifically asked to be involved, and I was just curious if they had an opportunity, if anybody contacted them or let them know about an opportunity to give input. I think that's important. I think it's fair.
Well, certainly there was certainly back and forth at these public meetings where they were able to offer their concerns, and we addressed a lot of those concerns.
I don't know if any of these people who made that request went to those meetings. I don't know if they were aware of those meetings.
I don't know who made those
And look,
requests.
in fairness to everybody in government, it is hard for us to get information out. Because if you put it in the newspaper, most older people see it. If you put it in social media, that's a different age group. You have to put it on Instagram and X and all to get the really young ones to participate. So it's a real challenge for us. In fairness to everybody in government, it is a challenge for us to get information out. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, I didn't even know that substitute ordinance was online, and I'm on the council.
Ms. O'Brien, you've exceeded a 10-minute time limit. I do want to say, I think this is one of the few times amendments or substitutions have ever been posted. And again, we are not voting to adopt this ordinance this month. This is for introduction. Just to make, Ms. O'Brien, please. You should understand that very well. Mr. Bender.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, let me thank two people who spoke on the council, Mr. Corbin and Mr. Rick Smith, for providing answers to information that the public here that has attended, and we appreciate you taking your time to attend, to answer questions that you pose to us. And frankly, some of the answers that we heard refreshed my memory. And so I thank that. I was going to say what the chairman just said. We have to remember one thing. We are not voting to adopt anything tonight. That's extremely important. Okay? Why are we not voting to amend something tonight? Because the law requires that an ordinance be introduced, and that ordinance has to lay over for at least a month to the next council meeting. So no matter whether it's Mr. Corbin's amendment, Mr. Kugel referred to his, there's going to be, today's the 2nd of October. I don't know what the first Thursday in November is, but I can't imagine it's the 1st of November.
It's the 6th.
It's the what?
6th.
November 6th.
6th. Okay. We're going to have 34 days. 34 days for citizens that came tonight, and appreciate you taking your time again, for council members who have rightly mentioned they saw a change, whether it's minor or not, late this morning, to gain more information before we do the important thing, which is the actual vote on the 4th or whatever 5th of November. Now, someone mentioned it's not our fault. It's nobody's fault, okay? It's nobody's fault. St. Tammany Parish, I moved here 49 years ago from New Orleans. I live in an area that has centralized sewage treatment. Let me say, so that we all are clear about this, and I'm not using this against people that would have to pay because of needing a new septic system or whatever. But for 49 years, me and my family have been paying for the centralized sewage treatment every month. I'm not going to go into my brain and try to figure out how many 20s or 30,000s of dollars that amounted to 49 years times 12 months, but it's a lot of money, okay? But listen, we can't have any community. We can't have any community. There would be disease, and I'm not a doctor, but I know enough to know this. We would have disease everywhere if we didn't have a way to deal with what comes out of our systems, it's the way we were born and made, comes out of animals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We couldn't exist as a community. There'd be disease everywhere. So I have a couple of questions, Mr. Chairman. For Mr. Corbin and Mr. Brown. I want to be clear about this because this is very important to me. Although I'm not voting tonight to adopt anything on the people of St. Tammany Parish. That's not what this is. It's introduction. The 75, Jeff, you mentioned about HUD and maybe the state. If any of the people in the audience, any of the people on this council live on a septic system or updated sewage small single package system, if your income is under $75,000, HUD will pay for this.
There's a HUD grant available.
Huh?
There's a HUD grant to pay for it, both either for pay for repairs and or replacement, and you pick your own contractor. We'll provide a list of contractors that are willing to do the work. You pick them, and then they generate a check to pay them that's made out to you and the contractor. So yes, 100% for people that make, a household that makes less than $75,000, that grant program is already in place. In fact, that same grant program is currently being used under the current system of inspection that occurs when power changes.
That's a federal HUD, right?
Yeah, I'd go to John. John, if you could, I don't know if you need to come up, but did I say anything that's incorrect? No, you did very well. Thank you.
Okay, so 75,000. Family of 4, 75,000. What is it for a family of 3? Nothing?
It's just 75,000 for a household of wage earners. Household of wage earners, 75,000. And then we're also working, as I mentioned, to go find credit unions and banks that are locally that are willing to go provide low-income loans for people that don't meet the grant program, the requirements of the grant program.
Okay, so on the grant, if you're earning 75,000 or less, if you're retired and on Social Security, do you qualify? I don't know of anybody making $75,001 on Social Security. Do you qualify for the grant? John's saying yes.
Yes. And that information is left with the resident at the time of the inspection.
Okay. So I'm not going to ask people to raise your hands because I wouldn't ask anybody to disclose what their income level is, okay? But just think to yourselves. One of the most important things that I heard tonight is this 75,000. Because a lot of what I heard tonight is we want clean water. We all agree. We want our bayous, our streams, and our lake and clean. Whether you swim it or not, we want it clean, okay? But cost is a real problem. And I agree with that. Cost is a real problem for people. And it's a big problem for people who are earning strictly Social Security, living on much less than $75,000 or $74,999. How do you, don't raise your hands. Does it make you feel better that the federal government, who in all my years on this council and the Slidell City Council, I don't remember giving us much. We had to do a lot of begging with people like John Marino. John, I probably got your old last name.
No, that's right.
Okay. That's our grants director. You can't imagine how much work she has to do to get money back to our community from the federal government. And I'm hearing under 75,000 or less. Jeff just explained it. He's put a lot of time into this thing. Not everybody on this council can say that we put a lot of time into this. And that's fine, because we have different committees. We have different council members working on different committees. We can't get 14 of us together at one time. It's illegal, okay? We can't get 8 of us together at one time. It's illegal. It would be a majority of the council. So we break into groups. And I'm going to vote on Mr. Corbin's amendment. I want to hear Mr. Kugel's amendment, substitute further. But remember to introduce it. But think about the money, and are you for it when you take money out of the picture?
Thank you very much, Mr. Bender. Mr. Phillips.
Well, first thing I'd like to say is this is probably the most logical thing I heard all night, is this regional sewage treatment plant, okay? I've been asking about this since I've been on the council, and I keep being told, oh, we're going to talk about it, but we never talk about it. That's the first thing, all right? The other thing is the communication and education. If we're getting asked that over and over again, I have to agree we're not communicating and educating well enough. Okay, that's another thing I would have to agree with from the audience. The other thing is, for this department to do this, they're going to have to grow their department. They're going to have to hire more people. I don't want to I'm not wanting to grow government. I don't think that's right. I think as a conservative, we need to maintain the size of government where it is now, if not reduce. This ordinance right here does not test the water. Okay, if you're going to go to 20 places, that's not covering the whole parish. Yeah, I agree in data, Jeff. I agree in this. I know how a scientist works, all right. But, you know, you have to use a KISS rule, too. And the other part is you're sort of being proven guilty before innocent in this thing. We're going to inspect your system. It might not need inspected, all right? Well, if the water's dirty, if we test the water first, and we see the ditch is contaminated, absolutely. Test it. We need to inspect somebody's system. Let's get some samples here. Let's go inspect the system. That makes a more logical approach to me than just going out and saying we're going to inspect 12,000 a year. I don't believe it. That ain't never going to happen. No way in heaven. Okay, that's my feelings on it. Urban growth line, that came out of nowhere in the last day or so. So, hey, you know what? You guys know as much as I know about the urban growth line and why we would be discriminating against some groups and not other groups here with this urban growth line. $1.5 million for mosquito abatement. Now, we're talking about reducing millages for all these different dedicated fund organizations. Mosquito abatement in the next year or so is going to come up for a rededication. Well, keep your money, reduce your millage. Let's give some money back to the people, you know? That's $1.5 million and over a period of time, whatever they're going to ask for. So, you know, yeah, we're asking them, or they're saying they're going to give it to us, but hey, you know what? Reduce your millage and give it to us if they have that much money to spend. Nowhere in this ordinance does it say where the funding is coming from. It says, whereas the funding has been identified. You've heard people talk about stuff, but if it's not in the ordinance, at the below section of it, where it doesn't say whereas, funding has not been identified for this program. That's what I was told anyhow. That's the way the law would read it. Okay, and the other part of it is after 3 years, we're going to be looking for more money to continue this program. So we need to identify in the ordinance where the money is going to come from. Let's see. Now, everybody here, and I've heard a lot of accusations about, oh, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you like dirty water, you want to play in dirty water. And I want clean water just like everybody else. I think we're just having a difference of opinion, starting up here where the clean water is and coming on down how we're going to get there, okay? I think this thing should be postponed again. And no disrespect to Mr. Toledano, I think he worked real hard when he was sitting in this seat. And I think it's a great objective to clean our water, and it's very, very important. But we have so many things going on right at this minute. We just got handed, look what we got handed right here, the budget book. This is what we're supposed to be working on in the next 3 months, along with some other things, okay? I think we need to get this solved first, how we're going to pay the DA this year, for next year, in the Justice Center and the jailhouse. And then we can come back to this thing in January and start dissecting it, find the good parts, find out what's acceptable to the people without being intrusive on their property, without saying you're guilty, we're coming to inspect you before we know whether your thing is not putting out clean water. I don't think that's unreasonable. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. Mr. Brown, I have a few questions. So as you know, and we've talked about this many times, I have been here my entire life. And I grew up on Bayou Lacombe and Bayou Cane, and now it is on the impaired water list.
That's right.
And what does that mean?
So EPA is required to generate what's called the 303D list. 303D references the section of the Clean Water Act where this list is maintained by EPA. And they've delegated to the state agencies, in our case, the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, to go out and determine which water bodies throughout the entire state are impaired. And once DEQ reports that back to EPA, they list it on the 303D list as being impaired. So DEQ goes out and they sample the ambient water quality. If it doesn't meet the state standards, then it is then listed as impaired.
But in layman's terms, it means it's not recommended that I swim or eat fish or crabs or seafood out of Bayou Lacombe or Bayou Cane, and what others?
Yeah, the Chifuncta, Bogophilia, Bayou Cane, Bayou Liberty, Bayou Paquet,
Are there any that are in St. Tammany Parish that are not on the impaired list?
The Pearl River is impaired at the very bottom, but not up towards the parish line. The Bogachita is not. I believe Mr. Allen mentioned one other one that was not, but very few.
Very few. So 30 years ago, 25 years ago probably even, it was not impaired, it was okay, and now we shouldn't swim or eat seafood out of our local waterways.
Well, the 303D list deals with primary contact recreation, swimming, and secondary contact recreation, boating. It does not put food restrictions. It doesn't put any kind of restriction on eating the seafood or the fish.
Swimming, skiing.
That's right.
Okay. And I would assume as we continue to grow, because I do agree with Mr. Allen and with the council and Parish President Cooper, we met several times, and we are working towards looking at potential for regional sewage, in particular in the growth management area, because we know that's where the primary density is, where we have 50-foot lots with tons of subdivisions. Just in District 7, I can name Hidden Pines, Tammany Forest, Forest Glen, Arundel Heights, where I live, where every ditch is polluted and disgusting, where kids try to play, dogs get in all the time, because we, including myself, have not maintained our responsibility, which is to maintain our own independent treatment plant. Education, you should know how to maintain your treatment plant. It is our responsibility to do that. Is that not right?
That's correct.
We don't pay a bill. I don't pay a monthly fee for regional sewage or for water. I'm supposed to maintain my treatment plant. And if we don't, we're polluting all of our waterways. So before we do get to regional treatment, which I would assume is a 10 to 20 year process, if we're successful starting now, we must do something. Or is the answer to do nothing? Why is Mosquito District, I want to hear it from you, why are they contributing to this?
This effort furthers their mission. The discharges from these wastewater treatment plants, when they impair those ditches and water bodies, they put stress on the natural predators for these mosquito larvae. And once you have an absence of those mosquito fish, the mosquitoes can then proliferate. They're the natural predator for this mosquito
So
larvae.
they spray for mosquitoes, they have a helicopter for mosquitoes, they have trucks for mosquitoes, and they spray the ditches constantly.
That's
so
right.
this will help in their mission.
That's exactly right.
So it's not a donation, or they're not just doing it to help us out as a favor. They're doing it to further their mission, which they are allowed to do.
That's correct.
Okay. I wanted to make sure.
And those mosquitoes that reside in those sewage impaired and polluted ditches and water bodies are the vector for West Nile virus. So that's one of the Mosquito Abatement District's primary concerns, is keeping those particular mosquitoes at bay.
Is a septic tank legal to have if you have one and it discharges directly into a ditch?
It is not. That is expressly forbidden by the state sanitary code.
It's forbidden?
Yes.
So if you have one, and you should voluntarily replace it?
Well, it's putting raw or poorly treated sewage into the ditches. So I would hope that people would take the initiative to go ahead and work towards that goal.
So to me, this helps work towards that goal, because now if you can't afford it, or if your income threshold is below $75,000 gross income, you will get a grant. You can possibly get a grant, or you can get a grant.
It depends on, that's a better question for Jean.
But for you, if they're in the process of getting that grant, will they be fined?
No, no. If the resident is acting in good faith and trying to come into compliance and fix whatever deficiencies we've identified, we will not take any kind of enforcement action on them.
Now, the inspection we're talking about, is it basically the same inspection you do now when you transfer your electricity?
It's the basic same inspection. That's correct.
Okay. Mr. Smith, would you mind?
I should clarify there. Currently, there's an issue with paperwork. That issue goes away with this new ordinance. So this is actually improves the situation for the residents of St. Tammany in terms of paperwork issues.
And that inspection costs $100, right?
The current one, yes.
And if we pass this ordinance, the inspection will cost?
Zero.
Zero. Mr. Smith, you did such a great job at one of the 5 community meetings, and I would also like to note that this started in 2023. There was a pilot program done, I think, mid last year, and then it was postponed 60 days, the original time, just so we could do this. There was 5 community meetings. There's been tons of education, tons of opportunities to learn about it. And again, we have impaired waterways. We have to do something to upgrade them to stop this continued pollution. Could you briefly walk through how the inspection program works?
Yes, sir. So we come on a person's property, pull up in their driveway, we'll have our lights on, we knock on their door, hope they're home, because that's when we want to educate them. If they're not home, we will proceed to do the inspection. If they are home, we ask them to accompany us. We walk over to their system, locate their system, identify if it is a septic tank or an ATU, because depending on what it is, depends on what we look for. If it's an ATU, we're looking for an aerator, make sure it's operating. We don't have to locate an aerator to see if it's operating. We use stethoscopes, that was mentioned by Shrink Conservancy, and we can listen for aeration, trying to listen for just action in the tank. If we hear aeration, great. That's what we're looking for. We're just making sure that then it's not collapsed, falling in on sail, making a hazard for others. And great, passes, we're good. If we hear no aeration at the tank, we'll go look for the aerator, see if it's operating, see if it's plugged in, see if the breaker's tripping. If it is running, operating, but there's no aeration in the tank that we're hearing, we'll check we can pull the little air line off to see if it's running with diaphragms busted or not. If it's not busted, it's not getting to the tank, the air line's broken or air line's plugged. So we're trying to identify reasons of why it's not aerating, getting aeration into the tank for the homeowner to help diagnose it so they know what they're looking for. Because if the aerator's not running, you basically have a septic tank going straight to your ditch, except the difference is septic tanks are designed to be anaerobic, and they're much bigger tanks than these smaller aerobic systems. So you have a small septic system, so it's just going straight out faster. So raw sewage is getting to the street faster when your aerator's not working. Then when we finish the inspection, so if it's a septic tank, there's no aeration, we'll look for a discharge or not, so we can identify it to the homeowner and let the homeowner know. If everything's working good, you get a pass. If you're exempt, if your discharge remains on your property with overland flow, spray irrigation, you're exempt. There's no off-site discharge. We'll go back, we'll ask the homeowners, we'll provide them information. if we can't get to, you know, say an area we can't locate, we know it's an ATU, might be missing, might be unplugged, because a lot of times we'll go out and they're just unplugged. People unplug them, plug in their weed eaters, plug in their Christmas lights, never plug them back in. Don't know what it's there. A lot of people move from the South Shore, don't know where they're about, what's going on with their ATUs, until they call and ask us, hey, can you tell me what's going on? It's backing up in my house. You know where my system is? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But we'll go out and try to help them. So we'll get with them, we'll give them information, education information. They can get back with us, grant information, and we work with them. Big thing's communication. We all hear that overnight. Communication, all nights, communication, communication. Big thing's just communicating. Working towards compliance, working towards just touching base with us, trying to, you know, hey, we got your door hanger, you weren't home. I'm sure people in this audience has been inspected by us, and they will all tell you if they have been, we haven't taken any enforcement action against them. Nobody here is going to say that we've ever taken enforcement action against them for non-compliant system. And then we just go on to the next resident.
So if you come to my house and my aerator's broke, you don't have a gun?
Nope, we're not hauling you off. We're not law enforcement. We're just going to leave you a note.
You're going to help me. You're going to help me do what I should be doing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That was very well done. Next, we have Ms. Sodden.
Tim, I do have a couple of questions for you. So, Mr. Laughlin brought up the spirit of this this ordinance, and I guess my take on it is a little different.
Ms. Sodden, try to speak closer to your microphone, please.
My take on it is a little different. Currently, we have the authority to enter someone's property now, don't we?
That's correct.
So can you explain what the difference is between what is on the books now and what we're trying to improve?
Yeah, this ordinance actually improves it for the residents of St. Tammany Parish over what we currently have. Environmental Services currently has the authority to go on property. We have the authority to fine $100 per day up to a maximum of $10,000. This proposed ordinance actually reduces that to $100 per month. It also...
And we're not going to enforce that as long as they're working with us.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct. The intent of this is not to be punitive.
Right.
The intent of this is to be a homeowner education program to go out and assist people, identify the problems, and get them corrected. The goal is just to get compliance and clean up our water bodies.
And can you let everyone know how many gallons of raw feces is being dumped into the waterways a day?
Yeah, so the 36,000 treatment plants that we estimate are in St. Tammany Parish. If you multiply that times 400 gallons per day, which is the LDH loading criteria, that comes out to 14 million gallons per day. Now, historically, we've seen a failure rate of about 50%. That's based on many different studies that we've done. The pilot study showed 21%.
Right.
So let's just say a 25% failure rate. Let's be generous, that only 25% are failing. That's still 3.5 million gallons per day of poorly treated or raw sewage going into our ditches.
Right. Well, I am in favor of this ordinance, and I do understand it, so I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Mr. Rowling.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A little taken back right now with some of the comments from the audience and also from the council. Number one, there were several meetings. I think that's been said since the 5. I was in this room for one of them. I was actually sitting there with where you are at the red shirt right there. And there were several councilmen on the first row. So there was meetings. It was advertised. If you can't make it, totally understand that, but they were. So it takes me back a little bit to hear from the public that they're never educated about this. This is, I think, driving a lot of us on this council crazy because we are trying to get it out to our constituents. I do it on my Facebook. The parish has a site. The parish has a website. You need to join the Facebook page to kind of educate yourself. Instead of coming up here blaming and pointing the finger, don't have trust for this government. So that's one thing. Second, it was already said about the private inspections. If you don't trust this parish, if you don't think they're going to do it right, get a private inspection certificate. It's your responsibility to have a system that works on your property. I live in the city limits of Covington. Mr. Bender said this a minute ago. He lives in the Slidell area. My bill, and I live in my house for 20 years, pays for water, trash, and sewer. every month I pay sewer. I haven't done the math to see 20 years what I've paid into it. Nobody wants a new tax in this parish. We know that already. So if we want central sewer system, get ready. So you purchase the property, you have a septic tank. Does it work or not? I would think it's your responsibility to want to know if it works. I want to know if my family is safe in that household. I want to know if my neighbor next to me is safe and my neighbor a mile from me is safe. It really takes me back to think someone else is responsible for that. It's your property. This council has worked very hard. Not every single person was involved in the committee, but a lot of people have been involved. And we listen to them, and we want to know what they have to say. There are grants there. No one's trying to fine you unless you don't want to do something. It's your property. When you have a leaking roof, or plumbing inside your house, or your car needs to be fixed, you get it fixed, don't you? Why wouldn't you fix your septic tank? It's polluting your neighbors. It's polluting this parish. This is the ordinance for the future of this parish. I probably won't be on this council, or many of us won't be on this council years from now, when it's going to really make a difference. We're setting a tone. So please, as homeowners or landlords, they need to get their systems ready, and we have to start somewhere. And again, central sewer, hey, if you want it, we can go to the polls for that, okay? Just like we do in the municipalities. We are paying every single month for sewer. I love the city of Covington. I love what they do to maintenance it. I have trust in them. This parish is trying to make a difference. So we have to start somewhere, and we're not voting on this tonight. Let's get it introduced. Let's talk about if we need to revise it, and let's just get this moving. This started in 2023. So if people come up here saying never heard about it, or anything, you just haven't been listening or talking to your council person about it. So, Mr. Chair, I have a question really quick. Mr. Corbin's changes, have that been introduced yet? Has it been?
It has been introduced and seconded.
Okay, it has
We
been.
have not
Okay.
voted on the amendments to the ordinance.
Okay. I appreciate it. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. We have Mr. Burke.
Good evening. I just want to say thank you to all the people that came out tonight, and it looks like it's almost 9 o'clock, but have waited here, spoke here in regards to what we're proposing tonight. I do realize this is for introduction, and you know, I just want to remind my colleagues and even myself that we work for you, we work for the people. I've listened to you and I've heard you tonight. Me personally, I want clean water, and I think every single person in this room wants clean water. My colleagues, everybody in the audience, we all want clean water. We want a goal to get there. But I think some of the residents, from what I'm hearing, are a little afraid. They're a little mistrusting of the government. It reminds me of one of my favorite presidents who said the 9 scariest words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." So at this point in time, I'm in a position where, you know, I really want to take some time. This is for introduction tonight. I realize that. I'm glad we're not voting on this tonight because I couldn't vote for it. But I encourage you all during the next 34 days to get involved. Talk to your councilman or councilwoman. Find out all the facts, get the details. I personally would rather see a more scaled down surgical approach to this problem. And I think somebody just mentioned it's not our intent to do something or to find or for it to be punitive, but it's written in the language. So, like I said, I think we need to take a step back and continue to work on this. I'm hoping that in the next 34 days we will come up with something that's going to be satisfactory to not only to us but to the people. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Mr. Burke is the last person that hasn't spoken already. I understand, but everybody spoke at once. Had to make sure everybody had a chance to speak first before we went to other people. Next, we'll go to Mr. Kugel. I did want to address one thing. I'm in a business where we deliver grocery stores. We deliver 8 to 12 grocery stores per day. It's a much wider spread. If you can't inspect 15 to 20 of these treatment plants per day, you're having a problem. So the thought of us not being able to inspect 12,000 a year is ridiculous. Mr. Kugel.
Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate all the comments from my colleagues. I do want to clarify two things. Again, I'm looking right now. The amendment that we are voting to to amend to is not online right now. So the public does not, other than the discussion we're having, does not see what we're about to talking about amending. I don't think we should be voting on huge things that the public doesn't get to see. To my colleague, Mr. Smith, we all want to do something. And I don't think this whole dogmatic approach to where it's almost a religious test, whether or not you support this specific version of the ordinance, is just not helpful, and it's offensive, honestly. We received at 6:53 this morning a very substantive change. It is not online right now for the people to see. It does not have independent water testing. Why are we ignoring what the state recommends? I don't understand that. That just makes no sense to me. The state recommends individual water testing for bacteria. Why would we ignore that? I cannot understand that. We have a different standard for the urban growth boundary, which is we just became aware of today. And ultimately, we have made our own standard for how we're going to do this. And my theory as to why that is because we just want to increase the volume of testing. Not even testing, because we're not doing testing, we're doing inspection. If we lower the standards, we can inspect more. That's really what, in my opinion, this is about. And one final thing I just want to say, the grants that we keep hearing mentioned, and I just confirmed this with our attorney, they are not in the ordinance, they are in what's called the recitation. They are not part of this ordinance. They will not be adopted into law. They are part of the recital, which is in the whereas portion at the top. They do not have legal effect when it's mentioned here. And if you want to clarify, we can do that. But I think we need to be careful we don't, as we say in the military, don't overpromise and underdeliver. And I think maybe the best thing, and I've heard it mentioned, or maybe the best thing is to postpone this, because let's see, hey, we got to introduce it tonight, but we can change it later. If we change it later, we have to reintroduce it again. Why are we rushing something through that the public has not even seen? Thank you.
Okay, we have Mr. Laughlin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with my colleague, Mr. Kugel. I think we need to perhaps, I would like to make a motion to postpone. I'm not sure procedurally wise, since we already have a motion and a second on the floor, if we have to call that.
We'd have to vote on that motion that's on the floor first.
So then maybe we should move to, if you would consider calling the question on that, and I would like to make a secondary proposal.
Can we get a legal motion? Point of order. Doesn't motion postpone supersede?
Motion to postpone to a certain time would supersede. When are you proposing the motion to postpone?
Postpone the amendments to something we're just voting on amendments to something we're not voting on.
Well, no. Well, that's something different.
Yeah.
What's currently before the council is the proposed motion to amend. Okay, so any motion to postpone would pertain to the motion to amend. You would then default back to the original motion, or the original ordinance, which is up for introduction. There would have to be there'd have to be then another motion to postpone that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I'd like to make that motion to postpone.
Okay, we have some more people in the queue, but let's go ahead and entertain this motion. We have a motion and a second to postpone amendments to an ordinance.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know till when?
I would assume it's 1 month.
1 month?
No, it's, I apologize. Let's postpone until January.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor to postpone amendments to an ordinance that's introduced until January.
Yes.
Please vote.
The motion fails with 8 nays and 6 yeas.
Okay. So let's go into the voting on the motion.
Hold on one moment.
Okay. Tell me when you're ready, Ms. Katrina.
So now we are back to debate on the motion to amend.
Oh, I think we debated it to death.
Someone has to call the question.
Okay, so we have 3 more people in the queue, and then we're going to call the question and move on. Mr. Phillips?
Okay, so right now we have a motion to amend, right? I call the question.
Needs a second.
I'll second that.
Second, we vote on call the question, right?
Let's get it done.
This is, which one?
This is just to call the question to vote on the motion, to amend the existing ordinance. 2/3 vote is required.
What 2/3 vote on a motion to call the question, a 2/3 vote is required. Oh, what? Okay, I'm sorry. We're voting to call the question, not voting to amend.
Correct.
To call the question.
What?
So can you confirm what amendment people are voting for?
You're not voting on an amendment
Right
yet.
now, we're voting to call the question. After, depending on how that motion goes, will depend on how we move forward.
And we need a 2/3 vote of yes for the question to be called.
Please vote.
So yay is to...
Yay is to call the question. No is not to call the question.
The motion passes with 11 yeas and 3 nays.
Okay, so now we have a motion on.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm sorry. I know it's confusing, but I'm going to get it straight. It's not that it's not as complicated as it seems.
All right.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second on the floor on to amend the ordinance. So let's vote on that.
You're actually substituting it. Because it's pretty different. Mr. Burke, what was your vote?
Yay.
With a verbal yay from Mr. Burke, the motion passes with 9 yeas and 5 nays.
Okay. Now, Mr. Kugel.
Hold on one moment.
One moment. Did you still want to speak, Joe? Oh. David, hit your light again. Jeff was up first.
All right, we've made our motion. This is now substituted. I would like to respond to a couple of the questions that were brought up. Yes, in fact, I did release a revision this morning at 6:53. I also released a revision a few days ago at 3 a.m. Every single revision that I've released has had markup showing what has changed between each revision. So at least on the council side, the council's been fully informed. I've sent it every single time I've made an amendment, and I provided it to every council member. In addition, I have chaired 2 sets of meetings with the council over the last month, asking for questions and reviewing the ordinance as it's evolving. Every single person on the council was invited to those and could participate in those meetings. And they were less than a quorum. We did it, it was only informational, just to say this is what's in the ordinance. So I appreciate that it's evolving, but there are minor changes. The change that was made today, we added more testing. Now you've heard from Councilman Kugel several times there's no testing. There is testing. There's testing that was added today for DES to help their prioritization of what areas to go focus on. And there's also a reference to the testing that is through the Lake Pontchartrain, the Pontchartrain Conservancy, of $313,000 as part of an EPA grant. So DES is going to conduct regular sampling. It's in paragraph B of the ordinance. And every council person has been provided that at 6:53 this morning. In addition, one of the things that I did not mention is Mr. Brown and Mr. Smith will be reporting to the Infrastructure Committee on a monthly basis, assuming this goes forward, if it goes forward, they have a monthly requirement to provide a written and/or an oral presentation to the Infrastructure Committee so that we can keep the public well informed of how this process starts to roll out if it's approved, and then what the data is coming back from the testing that we're doing. I think it's pretty comprehensive. How many, Mr. Brown, on the current ordinance that is in place today for power, how many fines have you levied in the last 10 years?
0.
0?
That's right.
So not a single fine?
That's right.
Okay, so not a single fine. Nobody's been fined. What does that mean? That means Tim's organization has worked with residents who are moving forward on fixing their systems and levied 0 fines. And those fines are $100 a day, right?
A day.
A day versus $100 a week.
A month.
Excuse me, $100 a month. I also want to point out, we talk about education. I know not all of you get the Slidell Independent, but I will share with you that if you go get the Independent and you look on page 2B, there's an article that describes this ordinance in great detail. It also provides the data that came out of the pilot program. I'd encourage you to go pick up a copy and read it. It's available free online if you can't get a hard copy. The ordinance is well described. Again, we've talked a lot. This is introduction. Mr. Brown has provided a budget. We talked about where the financing is going to come from. There's no reason to go put in place a CEA until we have an ordinance that passes. We have a commitment from Mosquito Abatement District to provide $500,000 a year, Mr. Phillips. You don't go secure that funding until you actually have an ordinance that you can go put it against. Again, we have had, I attended the community meetings. I personally attended every community meeting except Miss O'Brien's meeting. That's the only one that I missed. Why did I do that? Because I wanted to gather information for what the public thought about the ordinance so that I could make sure we're addressing their concerns. I understood what they were. I attended those community meetings. I made myself available to every one of my council members repeatedly. I provided them continuous updates, and I've also made myself available to the public. Residents want to take advantage of the waterways. What we hear all the time, we don't want development because we want to take advantage of this bucolic environment we live in. I'm not going to swim in our waterways, and I'm not going to put my grandkids in our waterways, our waterways. I'm not going to go eat fish and seafood out of our waterways. That's a pretty sad state of affairs for a bucolic environment that we want to go survive in. Councilman Kugel talked about surgical. Surgical is when you have, if we had failure rates 4%, 5%, 3%, that's different. That might warrant a surgical process. We don't. We have failure rates between 20 and 50%, and 35% of the properties in residential properties in St. Tammany Parish have individual sewage treatment systems. The people that should be most unhappy are the 60% of the people that are paying for sewage every month, and they're still living with the same polluted water that the rest of us are living with. My opinion is we're in a position we can't do nothing. I yield back to the chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Kugel. I believe you have another substitution.
Actually, first, if I could speak, I just want to just correct something. The item we received at 6:53 this morning does not have individual testing. It has some rotating testing in ditches and such. It does not have individual testing.
The question's been called. Mr. Corbett answered some other questions. If you have something new to introduce, please proceed with it. We're not going to debate the last thing. It's already been amended, and we're moving on.
But we're actually talking about voting on it, though, aren't we? I'm sorry. That's correct. That's correct.
It's been introduced.
Correct. So
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Okay.
Before you proceed, since Ms. Corbett, you make a motion to introduce?
Yes.
Second by Mr. Bender?
Yep.
Okay, so now it is introduced. You have something else to bring to the table, sir?
Yes. I wanted to offer a substitute motion, a substitute amendment. Actually, if I could, we have a state standard we can follow or not. So I think, especially with the budget coming up next month, I'm going to make a motion to postpone this till January. the public doesn't even know what we're voting on right now or what we're even trying to do. I don't think that's a responsible way to do
Kugel,
this.
we've already voted
So I'm making a motion to postpone till
We've
January.
already voted on that.
Right. But we're already introduced, right. But you're saying now we can may change it over next month. So I'm making a motion to postpone till January.
Postpone the introduction again?
Yes.
Okay. Motion and second to postpone.
The motion fails with 6 yeas and 8 nays.
Okay.
Hold on one moment. Okay.
Yes. So I am going to make a motion to substitute based on, I think we should be doing individual testing. So I'm making a motion to substitute with the ordinance, my ordinance.
Okay, a motion to substitute with Mr. Kugel. Mr. Phillips, do you second that motion?
I second it.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second on a motion to substitute. Any more questions? Okay, please vote on the motion and second to substitute.
The motion fails with 9 nays and 5 yeas.
Okay, let's move on to.
Just one moment, please.
You tell me. I'm talking to myself.
I have one question.
Okay.
There's no more discussion on this, Mr. Phillips. The motion has failed. We are moving on.
Number 14.
Number 14 is ordinance calendar number 7976, ordinance to amend the St. Tammany Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Parish Council, amending Section 2-74. Please keep it quiet as you exit, please. To add subparagraph F to require fiscal notes on ordinances amending the code. Mr. Kugel. Hold on one second.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there's just, there was an error on the letter, the subpart letter, and I'm just making a motion to correct that and reintroduce.
Okay, motion to correct. So it's amendment?
Yes.
Okay, motion to amend.
It's the wrong, because we passed something last month that changed the Muni Code, the letter, so that we have to do a letter after that.
Mr. Berg, do you second? Okay, please vote on the amendment.
Mr. Strickland, what was your vote? You could say it verbally. With a verbal yes from Mr. Strickland, the motion is unanimous with 2 absent.
Okay, Mr. Kugel, do you move to introduce? Yes. Motion, Mr. Kugel, second by Mr. Burke. We have one more, Katrina, a resolution?
Yes. That's why it was pulled.
Okay, we have resolution number 5, ordinance calendar number 7945, ordinance to amend the moratorium within the boundaries of Council District 7 and within Council District 11 above Interstate 12 and below Highway 36 on the receipt of submissions by the St. Tammany Parish Department of Planning and/or issues of permits by the Department of Planning and Inspections for the rezoning and/or subdivision, re-subdivision, or any construction or placement for any of the following. 1, any residential permitted use in planned unit development. 2, any new multifamily development in any zoning district. So if we have 2 speakers on this item. One is Mr. Eric Pitts. The other speaker is Mr. Don Audebert. Sorry, Mr. Pitts, please state your name for the record.
Mr. Audebert.
Mr. Audebert or Mr. Pitts?
Don Audebert, I'm the property owner, and just wanted to say, I'm guessing this is just, has to be introduced before it can be voted on, is that correct?
No, you'll vote on it tonight.
I'm sorry?
You'll vote on it tonight.
Tonight?
Yes.
Okay, I'm the property owner of 900 Dove Park Road, and just wanted to give a little history of this particular lot. We did have it re-subdivided. Originally, there was a house on there. There's been a house on there for 40 years. We bought the property, had some contractors look at it. They said that the house was better off demolished and starting over.
Mr. Audebert,
yes.
I'm going to pause you one second.
Sure.
Nobody even noticed I read the completely wrong thing. I read ordinance number 5 instead of resolution number 5. Bear with me.
Sure.
Resolution, Council Series Number C-7185, resolution to vacate in part the moratorium established by Ordinance Council Series Number 25-5762 on the receipt of submissions by the Parish Planning and Zoning Commission for the re-subdivisions or rezoning of property and/or issuance of certain permits by the Parish Department of Planning and Zoning permits for the construction or placement of certain building structures on property in the area bounded by Interstate 12, Highway 59, Sharp Road, and Highway 190, being a portion of Little Creek, Creek Bayou, Tet Lors, and Bayou Chinchuba drainage basin, specifically lots 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, Square 1, Dove Park Subdivision, St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana, also bearing the municipal address of 900 Dove Park Road, Covington, Louisiana, 70433, Ward 4, District 5. Proceed. What did you think you were talking about?
I just heard my name, so I came up. So I'm the property owner of 900 Dove Park Road. There was a house there previously, and we had it looked at by contractors. They told us we were better off demolishing it and starting over. So we came to the parish. They told us that we needed to re-subdivide the lots in order to build on it. This was back in 2022. So we did that. We came to the planning department, spoke with Miss Lambert, I believe was the person, and she told us everything we needed to do in order to get it re-subdivided. So we moved forward with that. At the time, there was no moratorium on the lot, so we proceeded to get plans drawn for the property. And as soon as we were ready to go to build, we found out that there was a moratorium. So we're just requesting the waiver on that in order to build our house.
Okay, so this is to vacate. Mr. Phillips? You have a motion? Motion by Mr. Phillips, second by Mr. Kugel. Any other discussion? Please vote. That was it, Katrina?
The motion is unanimous with 2 absent.
That means you can build.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. And your right lot, in the right. Okay, that's the end of the consent calendar, so we'll go on to the ordinances for adoption. Ordinance calendar number 7939, ordinance to amend the St. Tammany Parish Code of Ordinances Part 1, Code of Ordinances Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Parish Council, Section 2-71, Salaries, and Section 2.79, Council Personnel to make changes relative thereto. We get a motion to get this on the floor? Motion, Mr. Kugel, second by Mr. Laughlin.
I think that's a substitute.
There's an amendment.
You have an amendment?
That's, I know, I just got it on the floor. Do we have a motion to amend? Mr. Kugel makes that motion. Second by Mr. Laughlin. Please vote on the amendment.
The motion is unanimous with 2 absent.
Motion introduced by Mr. Kugel, second by Mr. Laughlin. Thank you. Number 2 is ordinance calendar number 7942, ordinance to amend and extend a 6-month moratorium on the receipt of submissions by the St. Tammany Parish Department of Planning and Development and for the issuance of permits by the Department of Permits and Inspections for construction or placement of any new residence or dwelling within Tammany Forest subdivision located within the geographic boundaries of Council District 7, east off 434 and east off west sides of Barry Todd. District 7, Ms. Seiden, can I get a motion? Motion, Ms. Seiden, second by Ms. Tanner. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with 2 absent.
Number 3 is ordinance calendar number 7943, ordinance to amend and extend a 6-month moratorium on the receipt of submissions by the St. Tammany Parish Department of Planning and Development and/or the issuance of permits by the Department of Permits and Inspections for construction or placement of any new building structures in Forest Glen subdivision located in Council District 7. Ms. Seiden, do you move? Yes. Second by Mr. Rowling. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with 1 absent.
Number 4 is ordinance calendar number 7944, ordinance to amend and extend for 6 months the moratorium and receipt of submissions by the Parish Planning and Zoning Commission for the re-subdivision or rezoning of certain property and/or the issuance of certain permits by the Parish Department of Planning and Development, permits for the construction or placement of certain building structures on property in the area bounded by 11th Street, Harrison Avenue, Highway 59, Fire Tower Road, 5th Avenue, and Hellenberg, as more particularly described herein in the attached map of Ward 3, District 5. Mr. Phillips.
I so move.
Second by Mr. Laughlin. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with 1 absent.
Number 5 is ordinance calendar number 7945, ordinance to amend the moratorium within the boundaries of Council District 7 within Council District 11, above Interstate 12 and below Highway 36, on the receipt of submissions by the St. Tammany Parish Department of Planning and/or the issuance of permits by the Department of Planning and inspections for the rezoning and/or re-subdivision of any construction or placement for any of the following: 1, any residential permitted use in planned unit development; 2, any new multifamily development in any zoning district. Mr. Laughlin, motion, second by Mr. Corbin. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with one absent.
Number 6 is ordinance calendar number 7946, ordinance amending the official zoning map of St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana to reclassify a certain parcel located on the west side of Highway 1077 on the south side of Bravender Way, being 117 Highway 1077 Madisonville, from its present L1 large lot residential district to an NC2 neighborhood commercial district, Ward 1, District 4. Ms. Seiden? Motion, Ms. Seiden, second by Mr. Rowling. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion is unanimous with one absent.
Number 7 is ordinance calendar number 7947, ordinance amending the official zoning map of St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana to reclassify a certain parcel located on the east side of House Creek Road, north of Sidney Spell Road, Bush, from its present R1 Rural Residential District and RO Rural Overlay to an R1 Rural Residential District, Rural Overlay, and Manufactured Housing.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Tanner, second by Ms. Casabon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion is unanimous with one absent.
Number 8, ordinance calendar number 7948, ordinance amending the official zoning map of St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana to reclassify a certain parcel located on the south side of Penn Mill Road and west of Pruden Road, Covington, from its present R1 Rural Residential District and RO Rural Overlay to an L2 Large Lot Residential District and RO Rural Overlay of Ward 3, District 3. Ms. Casabon. Motion, Ms. Casabon, second by Ms. Tanner. Is there any discussion? Please vote.
Mr. Bender, what was your vote?
Yay.
With the verbal yay from Mr. Bender, the motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 9 is ordinance calendar number 7949, ordinance amending the official zoning map of St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana to reclassify a certain parcel located on the north side of Chifuncta Drive and north side of Russo Drive in Covington from its present R1 Rural Residential District to an R1 Rural District and a Rural Overlay in Ward 1, District 3. Ms. Casabon. Second by Ms. Tanner. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 10 is ordinance calendar number 7950, ordinance amending the official zoning map of St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana to reclassify a certain parcel located at the end of Denninger Memorial Road and on the west side of Highway 21 in Madisonville from its present CBF1 commercial-based facilities to an L2 large lot residential district, Ward 1, District 4. Ms. Seiden. Motion, second by Mr. Rowling. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 11 is ordinance calendar number 7951, ordinance to revoke an unopened portion of an unnamed right-of-way located in North Trenchad Road, south of Ark Road in the River Bend Estate Subdivision, Ward 1, District 3. Ms. Casabon? Second, Ms. Seiden. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion is unanimous.
Number 12 is ordinance calendar number 7952, ordinance accepting finalized subdivision to the road and drainage inventory, specifically Audubon Trails subdivision warranty obligation released on July 22nd, 2025 by the Department of Engineering. Mr. Phillips?
I so move.
Second by Ms. Seiden. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion is unanimous.
Number 13, ordinance calendar number 7953, ordinance to remove road and lateral in District 6 that has not been maintained by the parish forces, specifically Breland Road, R05B007, and Breland Lane, ditch D05BW01007, Ward 5, District 6. Ms. Tanner.
I so move.
Motion, Ms. Tanner, second by Ms. Casabon. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 14 is ordinance calendar number 7954, ordinance accepting finalized subdivision to the road and drainage inventory, specifically Terabella Phase 1A-12 warranty obligation released on July 22nd, 2025 by the Department of Engineering in Ward 1, District 1. Mr. Smith?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Rowling. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 15 is ordinance calendar number 7956, ordinance to amend the 2025 capital improvement budget and capital assets. Amendment number 21, St. Tammany Library capital projects. Ms. Tanner.
I make the motion.
Motion, Ms. Tanner, second by Mr. Corbin. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 16 is ordinance calendar number 7957, ordinance to amend the 2025 operating budget. Amendment number 14, Ms. Tanner.
I make the motion.
Motion, Ms. Tanner, second by her best friend, Ms. Kazadabon. Any discussion? Please vote.
Mr. Bender, what was your vote? Yay. With the verbal yay from Mr. Bender, the motion is
Mr. Bender.
unanimous
Tighten up,
with
Mr.
no one
Bender.
absent.
Number 17 is ordinance calendar number 7958, ordinance to amend the 2025 capital improvement budget and capital assets. Amendment number 22, development of capital projects. Ms. Tanner.
I make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Tanner, second by Mr. Rowling. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 18 is ordinance calendar number 7959, ordinance authorizing the Parish of St. Tammany through the office of the Parish President to acquire a certain parcel for area drainage improvements in Ward 5, District 5. Mr. Phillips?
I so move.
Motion, Mr. Phillips, second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 19, ordinance calendar number 7960, ordinance authorizing St. Tammany Parish government through the office of the Parish President to acquire parcels of a movable property approved by the Louisiana Watershed Initiative buyout program. Mr. Corbett?
So moved.
Motion, second by Mr. Laughlin. Any discussion? Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Ordinance calendar number 7961, ordinance to amend the St. Tammany Parish Code of Ordinances, Part 1, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Parish Council to add Section 2-81, Use of Parish Resources and Equipment. Mr. Kugel? Second, Mr. Laughlin. Any discussion? Please vote.
Ms. Kazabon, what was your vote? With a verbal yay from Ms. Kazabon, the motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Number 21 is ordinance calendar number 7962, ordinance to amend St. Tammany Parish Code of Ordinances, Part 1, Code of Ordinances, Chapter 10, Animals, Fowls, and Reptiles, Article 3, Bird and Wildlife Sanctuaries to add Division 23, North Shore Beach Subdivision as a bird sanctuary, and further amending excuse me, Chapter 30, Parks, Recreation, and Scenic Neighborhoods, Article 16, Scenic Neighborhoods, Section 30-423, Scenic Neighborhoods, created to add North Shore Beach Subdivision as a scenic neighborhood. Mr. Bender. Motion, Mr. Bender, second, Mr. Laughlin. Is there any discussion? Please vote. Say the reptiles. Look, we have a couple off the floor.
The motion is unanimous with no one absent.
Okay, so we need to vote to open the off-the-floor agenda.
I make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Laughlin, second, Ms. Tanner. Any discussion? Please vote. And we got a special
The
bonus.
motion
coming up
is
here.
unanimous with no one absent.
Off the floor, number 1, ordinance to amend the 2025 capital improvements budget and capital assets. Amendment number 26, buildings, general capital projects. This is only up for introduction. Motion by Mr. Corbin, second by Mr. Laughlin. Item is introduced. Off the floor, number 2. And there's one more after this, and don't pack up, please. Ordinance to amend the 2025 operating budget, amendment number 16. Motion by Mr. Corbin, second by Mr. Laughlin. That's it, it's introduced. One more thing, Katrina, do you have mine? Did you write the name down?
Yes.
I need a verbal off the floor.
First, you need a motion to open the verbal off the floor.
Motion, Mr. Laughlin, second by Ms. O'Brien.
And you need to vote.
Please vote. Just hit you. There you go. Now we're learning. Slow learners, but learners. Just hit yes.
Ms. Tanner, what was your vote?
I guess I'll open it, okay.
The motion is unanimous with no one absent.
It won't work.
All right, this is it.
Okay, we have, what is this?
Read that sentence.
Thank you. A resolution to appoint Tiffany Lowry to fill a vacant seat. Board member resigned on the Board of Commissioners for St. Tammany Parish Recreation District Number 4. Get a motion, Mr. Corbin, second by Mr. Laughlin. Please vote. you have something
The
you wanted to
motion
add
is
to the meeting?
unanimous with no one
Are
absent.
you sure? Do we have a motion to adjourn?